it spin, new world starts where we begin. Human heart, machine brain, same bright groove in the lane. I am running the Nate Herk watch party. Nate Herk watch party. And automation. Nate Herk watch party. Running the Nate Herk watch party. Let the whole stream catch the wave. AI and automation. We're the future, we're the brave. Woo! Screens up, night is live. We click in, we come alive. Lines of code, hands in motion. Work turns fast in one big ocean. Tax repeat, I let them flow. Save the time, then let it glow. You set the room, I set the pace. Human spark in a digital place. One more tap, one more round. Everybody feel that rising sound. Keep it moving, keep it near. Live on YouTube, we're all in here. I am running the Nate Herk watch party. Nate Herk watch party. AI and automation. Running the Nate Herk watch party. Everybody pressing close. AI and automation. That's the one we need the most.
All right, what's up? What's up? How's everyone doing? Oh my goodness, this is incredible. Thank you so much for coming on out. This is Solomon Christ here, having another Nate Herk reaction watch party. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Man, my watch fell off. Oh my goodness, I gotta put this watch back on. Thanks for coming on out. We are live. That's right. We're live here. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna watch some Nate work videos. Nate's gonna be like, what the heck? No, Nate Herk videos. Okay, we're gonna watch it, and this is live, so it's like mistakes and everything. Okay, you're gonna get to see the raw stuff. You're gonna get to see my clock on the side here, and just like everything that's over here, having some fun. We're gonna have a great time today. We've got another set of videos. We're going to go over some great stuff. We're going to talk about AI and automation and just kind of, have a great time all together. And hopefully learn something, right? And so this is your opportunity to come on in, chat with me live and chat with other learners from around the world. And we are going to do this, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific, or wherever you are around the world. Thank you so much for coming on in and having some fun with us. And this is just more ways to learn, more ways to enjoy the content and connect. So let me actually now take you over to this screen here. If you haven't already, definitely, join up on Nate's community. He's got an incredible community there. It's on his school. It's called AIS, this AIS Plus here. And when you join a paid community, you get to interact with people who are doing some incredible things and like they're taking action. It's a little bit different in the paid communities because, people are there, they're serious, they're actually doing stuff. And so when you join up, it's an opportunity for you to connect. And the school community is all there. You get to learn stuff. I'd recommend, go into the classroom, learn everything you can. There's so much to learn. And then, of course, you're going to probably be locked the first time you get inside of there. So go out, say hello to people, read some of the comments. Talk to people, that's just the way you're going to interact and start growing. And then you've got a calendar here and you can get to see some of the upcoming events where you even get to interact with Nate as well. So it's a lot of fun. Definitely something I recommend. And so definitely check it out. And so, we're going to start off here. And one of the videos that, I'm going to be going over today, we're going to be going over the email AI agent. Wow. We're going to be talking about the email AI agent and what it's all about and how it all works. And if you haven't seen Nate's channel here, it's at Nate Herk and videos. So it's at Nate Herk. And his latest stuff that just came out is all about, the second brain, MD files, wiki, vector, all that cool stuff. Really, really cool stuff. And we're going to get through that eventually. But we're going to go, step by step by step, just going through as many videos as we can and learning some of the foundational knowledge. Because so many people, when they're starting out, even myself, I don't know everything. I'm always learning, right? And that's the whole entire key is just keep on learning. We're going to have some fun here. And if you're, coming from around the world, let me know where you're coming from. Go ahead, type it in. Love to see where you're all from. And let's actually start diving into this one here, we're going to be going over how to create an email AI agent and start, hearing all about it. I'm going to be muting my mic so that you can hear the video, and also unmuting it at the same time and reacting live and, kind of going over it. So let's have some fun now. All right. So this one
all
here.
right, so today I'm going to be walking through step by step.
This is Nate's video on walking through how to create an AI email agent. Okay. And this here is actually RAG. All right. And if you don't know what RAG is, it's retrieval augmented generation. So we're going to dive in deep and kind of go over some of the stuff there. And I'm going to be in the background here reacting to some of this stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and let's check this out.
How to build a super simple email AI agent. If you know anything about agents, you know that they can get super complex as you give them access to more tools and expose them to different scenarios. So I just wanted to keep this first one super simple, just to give everyone a good understanding of what agents are capable of and how you connect them to tools in order to do what you want them to do to automate workflows, basically. So let's get straight into this one. We just wanted to start off here with a quick demo of what the agent actually looks like and what it's going to do. We got the agent. Don't worry.
So I'm going to pause it here because you can actually see like there's a lot going on, right? And so of course Nate's going to dive into what all of this is, but this is like kind of like a basic RAG setup. And so that's what we call it, is a retrieval augmented generation. Man, I wish I had like drawing tools for this thing. Something I have to go and invest in and figure out how to do. All right, maybe I'll talk to Claude and I'll be like, hey, Claude, can you actually build me something to draw on my screen while an OBS is going live or whatever? There's so many different software tools. It gets like crazy. Anyways, so this here is a classic RAG setup here. We're going to be using Pinecone. Pinecone is a vector storage place. Vector storage. Oh my gosh, it's a big fancy word for explaining how we now take data in and how we can store it. I'll try and give you like a quick little example, background here, because people are like, what the hell is vector? I don't understand this, right? All right, so let's go in and I'll try and use my basic analogies here. So if you can imagine now, in our computer world, we have information, all right? And I think a spreadsheet is something that everyone kind of understands here. So you can think of a spreadsheet here. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of draw out a spreadsheet. Oh my gosh, this is really so messed up. Okay, spreadsheet. Here we go. I got rows, and then inside of a spreadsheet, you've got columns here, column 1, column 2, column 3. All right, so everyone kind of knows what a spreadsheet is, right? So you know that. But then inside of this here, you're gonna have different labels. You're gonna have for example, let's say name, and then you're gonna have we could call it animal type, right? So animal type, right? Or maybe there's a family, animal family, right? Family, what's the family of the animal? And I don't know, maybe something specific about it. I don't know, whatever it is, right? And so now we start adding in different animals, right? So I can add in over here, maybe there's a dog, maybe there's a cat, okay? And maybe there is a lion, all right? Okay, so these are different types of animals. And so I'll call this one a canine, right? And then these ones are felines, right? I believe. Hey, listen, I'm not here to tell you about science, okay? I don't know about science. I know a little bit of science, okay? I remember those things. All right, so now basically what ends up happening is what's telling us that, a cat and a lion, they're part of the feline family. They're the exact same thing in terms of the animal type, but how much of a feline is a lion compared to a cat, right? It's really, really maybe deep inside of there. So what the whole vector idea is, this here is 2 dimensions, right? If you think about it, there's you've got your 1 dimension here, right? Going this way is called X, right? So on the X direction. And then we got another dimension here, which is Y, which is basically how many items there are going in and, up and down. If I needed another vector, if I added another 3rd item, okay, another thing which calls a vector, and a vector is 3 dimensions, all right? X, Y, and Z. If I add a 3rd vector now, okay, this is in 3 dimensions. Think about in 3D, like 3 dimensions. You see this here, 3D. This is a 3D cube. You can see the cube there, okay? So now I can say, all right, I have a cat, which might be right here on the feline scale. And then I've got a lion who's over here on the feline scale. But then I got a dog, which is nowhere near the feline. So it's over here all the way. So now I can say with a higher probability which one is more of a feline. All right. So I can now put that into perspective, and I could, group things and gather things around. And so this here is, I guess, it's a very simple explanation of what a vector database is all about. But that's kind of the idea here. Is like things which are more related are going to be closer, put together closer than those things which are very, very, abstract and far apart. And that allows the AI to kind of search through things a little bit better. Now, of course, AIs are built with something called transformers. It's a very deep concept. But coming back to the n8n side and what Nate is explaining and what he's going to show us here, this here is a vector database, which means that I can now give it information. In plain English, I can give it information. It's going to be able to store all that information and then retrieve it using artificial intelligence. And it's going to be able to know my data. So before things like Claude co-work and all that, where did we actually have like this brain? We had the large language model. We don't know where this brain is. That's what this is now at that time, we can actually go and build our own virtual brain where the actual AI kind of figures it out. And so now, it's got this agent which can now do stuff for us, and it knows about our stuff. Whereas before it's just like, here's your AI agent. It only knows everything up until 2022, 2023, the internet, but it doesn't know our specific items, right? All right. So anyways, that's what this is. This is a retrieval augmented generation where we're building up our own database with our data so it understands our stuff. And so the agent can pick it up. All right, let's continue.
A lot of this stuff probably won't make sense, but by the end of the video, it all will. We've got the tools it's going to use here, email, the Pinecone vector database, and then you can see all of the embeddings of a large language model in here. We're using OpenAI, and that is basically just how it's going to know what to make the email say, how to find the information, the contact information, that sort of stuff. So let's go in here and say, send an email to Phil Dunphy asking him what's up. Hopefully this doesn't take too long to execute.
It's got some fun music in the background. I hear like some classical, it seems like some jazz in the background.
The email has been sent to Phil Dunphy asking him what's up. If you need anything else, feel free to ask. Perfect. All right, so let's just go in here. Hey Phil, just checking in to see what's up. Best Nate. Super simple email, but just wanted to give you guys a quick demo of that. Okay.
So I'm going to quickly go over what you just saw there. So what Nate is actually showing here is what we wanted with agents, right? And whether you're doing it with n8n, and I'll just move a little bit further down here because he's going to be talking about the resources that you're going to need. n8n, Pinecone, Google Docs, OpenAI API. I'll go over what they are in just a bit. So the point is, though, we want agents. We want them to work. The nice thing is inside of n8n, I could create an agent at n8n. I could create one with Claude. You could see that with, OpenClaw, right? So you see that that's actually really, really nice. And it's using, Claude under the hood. It's using the Anthropic models. And so this could be done with n8n. And the nice, powerful thing is that compared to Claude is like a closed black box, meaning that you can't see what Claude is doing, right? We don't know what it's doing inside. But with n8n, I can at least see what it's doing and I can actually work it out. And so this is the nice thing here when you're actually creating like this RAG application and you're going to put it all together. All right, so let's continue with what Nate is saying. And yeah, oh my goodness, I think I muted the background. I hope I did. Did you guys hear the video? I hope you did. Just go ahead and type in and let me know what's going on. Hopefully you guys can, hopefully I can see you guys can see me. So let's continue.
Contact information. We've got Google Docs, which is actually where we have our contact information. We'll be pushing it from Google Docs into the vector database. And then we've got OpenAI API. Obviously, that is how we're going to use the large language model in this agent. And then 5 years of coding experience. Yeah, obviously that's a joke because that's kind of the whole point of this video and these low-code, no-code tools. So
yeah. Yo, let me just like back up on that one. As much as he was joking about that, I highly recommend it. If you have no coding background, it's going to be like a big challenge when you're seeing some of these more advanced topics that you're going to start getting into. When you start getting into things like RAG, when you're starting to use n8n, you got to have at least a coding foundation of some kind. And I know some of you are like, oh man, I hate programming. I hate all this stuff. But you have to understand at the very root of all of this, whether you're looking at AI from Claude and Claude Code and all the other ones, or even just like you're just going on using Claude or even ChatGPT, under the hood, these are software. These are, computer technologies that are running. And the more you understand at least some of the foundational basics, the better you're going to be able to use them and get more value out of them. And so that's why, as much as, he may have been joking, I would say if you do have a background in tech, that is going to be very huge. If you don't, please at least go out and learn some basic items. It will help you in n8n. It will help you even when you're actually trying to understand your Claude stuff, or your Codex or your anti-gravity or your perplexity or whatever you're using. At least it'll help you out to understand what these things are doing. These are logic systems or probability systems. They still are programming underneath the hood, and they are looking for you to have logic. And so at the very minimum, what having a coding background or even learning some code will do is it'll teach you logic step by step by step, because that's what these things are doing. They are looking for logic. And so even when you're giving context to these things, it's so important when you're actually, doing that and putting it together. This will help you out. All right. But yeah, 5 years of coding experience. Oh yeah. Get 5 years. Go try and get 5 years in like 1 month. Yeah, that's not going to happen. You need 5 years. No, I'm joking. At least get maybe just a basic programming course. That could be like a couple of months, 6 months, 3 months, whatever. And just keep on practicing. It's going to help you out, especially if statements, loops, and all that other stuff that will help you out as you get better and better in n8n. Okay. All right, let's continue. Here we go. And I'm going to unmute this and we got this.
We're going to be building 3 separate workflows today. The first one is going to be to push contact data from Google Docs to the Pinecone vector store. And if you've never heard of a vector database right now, or if you've never heard of it before, don't worry about that right now. It's basically just where we're going to be pushing the data so that the agent can pull it. There's a lot of resources on what vector databases actually are and why they're important for agents, but let's just keep it simple for now. We're going to be building the tool also in n8n. That's going to be the send email tool. And then finally, the actual agent itself. And all 3 of these workflows are going to be in n8n, which is really awesome to keep everything together.
n8n is
so yeah,
awesome.
That's basically it. Let's just get straight into this. First, let me just show you what my contact data looks like. So these are all of my best friends pretty much. I've got their email addresses here, obviously.
Nate, how come I'm not on there? What's going on? I should be on there. What's going on? He's saying all his best friends. I don't see my name on there.
Fake email addresses besides this one is one of mine. So we're going to be sending it to Phil Dunphy, and that's how it knows to send it to this email address here. Then this is Pinecone. You want to go in here, make an account. It's super, super cheap. It's actually, I don't even know if I've paid for it yet. It's based on usage. So
right here, so Pinecone is your vector database. They give a free account, so you guys can actually go and set one up right now. And you know what? We'll set one up. Let's just set one up. Let's just do that. Yeah, let's do that. So let's go to Pinecone vector database. Okay, let's type that in. Let's go see what this thing is. All right, here it is. This is Pinecone. Ignore the ads. There's like several ads. That is not the Pinecone. That's like another like technology to, check on Pinecone or something. What is this? Pinecone vector monitoring. I don't know what that is. But Pinecone, it's got a little black icon here. It's the vector storage database. You want to go inside of there. You want to actually start for free. You get a free thing. Ooh, look, my mouse, it's actually following me around. All right, you want to start for free, and that's your Pinecone. And then you're going to just basically put in all your information, every single detail inside of there, and kind of like get it all together. And there we go. Continue with Google. I'm going to continue with the Google. All right, I already set one up, but you can set one up as well. That's up to you. Well, actually, you need it in order for you to actually complete this tutorial training. All right, so I'm going to kind of put this together, and let's see what happens. All right, I should maybe have some affiliate links for this. Maybe make a little bit of money. Oh my goodness, that's so crazy. He said the word money. Oh yeah, okay. This is my work. This is what I do. Having fun. It's all right. Whatever. Have fun with this. So long-term memory for AI. Start building for free. So I'm building a small or personal project. I'm building for scale or commercial use. All right. We're all learning here. So we're going to start off for a small personal project. I'm just going to do that there. Start for free. There we go. What are you building? I'm not telling you what I'm going to build. This is my top secret. Let's click on skip here. All right, there we go. All right. So now we've got this here, and it's got all kinds of stuff loading up here. So you're going to see this thing here. What's going on here? Welcome to your project. I'm going to create an index, or I'm going to load from a data set, or I could use Claude Code, or I can get an API key. I'm probably going to need all of this stuff here. All right, so what we're going to do here is let's go ahead and let's create an index. All right, and this is the important part here, because a lot of you are going to go out and be like, okay, I'm seeing Nate's video. I don't know how to create this thing, and I see him doing all this stuff, and it's kind of weird, and I don't know what the heck Pinecone is. All right, These are the parts that are missing. This is why when you're seeing some of our videos and stuff, you're like, oh, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? This is exactly why. So I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? So right now what's happening here is we want to create something called a vector store. I have to give it a name. So I'm going to call this my vector. Can I do that? Can contain only lowercase letters, numbers, hyphens. Okay, my dash vector. There you go. Hyphens. My vector DB, okay? For database. There you go. All right. So there are different configurations here based on what you're trying to do. All right. A lot of people that come in here and like, you know, if you're watching Nate's video here, you're already going to be confused at this point because you're like, Pinecone, I don't know how to set this thing up. Right. And so a lot of people will probably fall off at that point of the video and it's just going to be like, I don't know. I'm just going to follow along what he's doing. And then hopefully you might do it another day. You'll probably do it. You'll never get to it. Okay. Stop pretending. You're never going to get to that. Okay. Everyone watches it and then they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do it one day. Right. And then it's like, you don't, because you get back to like life, you get back to your job. It's like, you probably have like an hour in a day to learn. All right. But I recommend you actually do this. So I'm going to actually walk you through this and how it works here. So this here is asking us which model we want for our embeddings. All right. Embeddings is just a fancy, thing of like, a certain size of data is going to go in at a time. All right. So I can probably do, let's say, just like 2-3 pieces of data. I could probably take 3 Rubik's cubes at a time. Probably the size of my bag. If I'm carrying a bag with a whole bunch of Rubik's cubes, my bag, this bag, which I got is a small bag. It could probably take 3 or 4. I've got a medium bag, which could probably take a lot more Rubik's cubes. And I got like a big bag that could take a lot of stuff. Okay. That's how much information can be pushed at a time. All right. So in this case here, this is the state of the art text embed V2 from NVIDIA. I'm not using that one. There's Microsoft's one. It's a large one, so I can put more stuff. Think of a big bag of information. All right. That's how much information I can push. And over here, as we go down, there's a Pinecone version, but these are the ones that we want. OpenAI, they come already pre-configured. I could configure my own version if I really wanted to. But we're just going to use one which is already kind of pre-done. And this is the text embedding 3 small by OpenAI. Very important that you remember that. All right. Because you're going to need that when you go into n8n. So I'm going to click on this guy here. And now you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff here. Okay. And you're going to see here the type of modality. All right. So modalities. Oh my gosh. Another key word inside of the world of AI. Okay. So modals, modalities, not models. Okay. Modals. All right. So it's in plain English, it's the type of input or the type of output. So I can do text, I could do images, I could do videos, I could do a PDF. Those are different modal types. All right. And so I can have an input modal and I can have an output modal. So my output modal could be like, all kinds of different things. Okay. So in this case here, I've got text. Okay. So I'm putting in text and my dimension. How big is the data that I'm going to be passing, right? Am I using a small bag, a big bag? And this is the key here, guys. Very, very important. If you don't do this right, it's not going to work. All right. Choose one dimension, whatever it is. I'm going to choose 1536. Whatever dimension you choose, it has to be the same in n8n. Because if you're not doing that correctly, it's not going to work. And you're going to be like, this stuff, doesn't work. And then you're going to give up. All right. Don't give up. Keep on going. Just another try and you're going to get it. Okay. So now you see this here. I want a serverless. That's fine. AWS is fine. You want to choose where this server is. This database is going to live on a different computer. All right. That's what it is. And then I've got this create index button here. Let me just turn off my camera for 1 second. You see that here? Click on create index. There we go. I've got my starter plan. It's all free. And now the index is initializing. There we go. Now you have your proper Pinecone setup. Good job. Okay. Now we've got the actual stuff. And now let's continue. And then when it comes time to actually connect the API, remember we created this thing called my vector DB. 1536 was our magic number for our vector database. All right. It's a size of data, basically, how much is going in. And yeah, you're good. You're good. All right. Let's continue. Let's continue on the video because lots of learning, lots of fun. All right. And we're going to see like some cool stuff here. And look at this. Look at this. He's got some cool lights. I got some cool lights in my background too. All right. I got this, like we got yellow, orange lights here. Okay. Both of us have that. I like that. That is so cool. He's got a cool light there. I like that. All right. Let's continue.
Yeah. Super cheap. You're going to basically just go into Pinecone here. You're going to create an index. You can name it whatever you want. The only thing that really matters to set up here is right here. The configuration. You need to set it up by model 3 small. You're going to set that configuration and create that index. So I'm not going to make one because I've already got one. As you can see right here, it's called sample. And actually, let me just get rid of this data in here so I can show exactly how we're going to push this data in here. So, all right, back to n8n. So we're going to add workflow to project. And this first one is going to be the workflow that's going to push the data into Pinecone. So I'm just going to call this one Pinecone. All right, so the first step is we need to add a trigger. As you can see, there's a lot of different options for triggering this workflow, but we're going to start off with trigger manually.
All right, so what I'm going to do also, just to kind of get the video going along a bit more, is I'm just going to slightly speed this up a bit, okay? Just to like maybe like one and a half, all right? So you guys can at least hear it and we can follow along, and at least I can move through it and try and get through the video a little bit faster too. But basically what he's going to do is he's going to actually set up the trigger. So in Pinecone and what we're trying to do here is the way this thing works, and we'll go back to Excalidraw here because Excalidraw allows us to really kind of go over how all this stuff works here. Let me delete this thing. This is crazy. I got to delete this. Where's the, oh yeah, reset the canvas. Reset. All right, it's done. All right, cool. So what the heck were we on just now? I completely forgot. I just blanked out. Hold on. Right. The vector database and why we've got several workflows. Okay. Listen, this is a lot of stuff, all right? It's not easy. As much as it's like people think that it just comes easy or natural to us. No, it's like we had to go through building these workflows ourselves. I've created like, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of workflows myself, right? So I just keep on building. And then same thing with Claude, you know, we're using it every single day. Like this is our daily stuff. And so for most people, you know, you get maybe like an hour a day or an hour every week to learn this stuff. You know, many of us were doing this like 8 to 10 hours a day. Like this is what we do. Sometimes 12 hours a day, the latest news that comes out and all that other stuff. So yes, that's why we have that knowledge, but that's also because we're grinding more in the space. Okay. That's all it is. All right. And you could do it too. So don't feel like, oh my goodness, you know, this is like, you know, not something that you could do. Every one of you could do this. It's just, you got to put the grind in, you got to put the work in, and, you know, come on out, have some fun with us. I want to make this fun, right? I just want to make this fun and just kind of like teach it and have some fun. Okay, back to why we've got these workflows here. So what's going to happen is the first step is we need to ingest this data, all right? So some information is coming in. We have to put it into our vector database, into our Pinecone, all right? So that's the first step. So we need a workflow for that. So that's what Nate's actually setting up here, is this first workflow where we take the data and we put it into our RAG database or our vector3 database, okay? All right. So from there then, once I have it in there, now my information is stored somewhere, all right? So now my AI, whatever I create here, I'll create this AI agent from n8n, is going to be able to go into this database, get that data, hence the retrieval, all right, to augment the information that it already has, right? Retrieval augmented generation, RAG, RAG. There you go. Now you learned what that word means, okay? And so now we're going to grab what we actually ingested inside of there. And if the agent is really, really cool, like you made a really cool agent and you gave him like a name and a soul, that's for those who are doing agentic harnesses. Ooh, that's some more advanced stuff. But that's OpenClaw, Hermes, and all the other things. Then your AI will really respond to you really, really nicely. Okay, so that's what's going on here. So our first workflow that Nate is going to be working on, he's going to be showing us, is this thing here. All right, so let's go ahead and let's do that. Continue.
We'll get into a few of these other ones later, but we're going to trigger manually, which basically just means that when we click test workflow, that's when the scenario is going to run. So we've got this trigger here. We're going to click on this plus to add a node. The node that we're going to grab here is Google Docs. So as you can see, there's tons of integrations in n8n. We're going to grab Google Docs, and then we have to choose a specific action within Google Doc. So what we're going to do here is get a document. Okay, so here's something that I got really confused about when I was trying to learn about how to build agents and stuff, and that was being able to call all these different nodes. So Google Docs, OpenAPI, Google Drive, Gmail, Pinecone, pretty much all of those you have to.
Did he just say OpenAPI? There's no such thing as OpenAPI. It's OpenAI API. That's okay. Having fun. Nate is so good at this. All right. So for those who are just starting out in n8n, this is exactly the point. Many times you won't find an actual node there. You have to actually add it and put it in via credentials. Now, the Google credentials are a little bit harder and confusing. So I'll walk you through this. I know Nate's going to do it too. So we'll walk through it all together and we'll have some fun with it. But yeah, basically what he's doing is he's putting all his information for the document to be ingested inside of the RAG via a Google Doc. All right, so that's what he's going to do. But you could have done it in any other way. You could have done a PDF input. You could have just manually put it inside of there if you'd like. Some people get really creative. And so, for example, they'll connect up one of these things with like a WhatsApp or a Telegram chat. And now you can imagine that entire chat is recording all that history. And you can now just go back in. If you're a business owner, this is huge. You just go back in and be like, okay, can you tell me what date do we say this document, was important, or when did we talk about this client? And so now you can talk about your entire team, and it's so good for that data, because sure, WhatsApp may have it, but WhatsApp search is kind of there. But imagine now summarizing the daily events. If you've got an active chat or a WhatsApp group, that is a great use case for a business, right? And so, for example, real estate, that is one of the many clients that I've worked with. They had a real estate WhatsApp bot WhatsApp chat that they wanted to build a bot for, where they're now all chatting, deals and workflows are coming in, clients are coming in, boom. At the end of the day, a summary. What clients did we talk about? What are some of the top 3 things that we got to do and check out? Like, that's the sort of thing that you can actually do with something like this, with a RAG bot, all interconnected, and it knows all your data. And then here's the best part. Because you got that data sitting in a vector database, I can now create a different front end. So maybe, half of the staff is working through WhatsApp. Maybe your top heavy hitters are working through it, right? And exactly, yes. Humps 321, thank you so much. This is from 2 years ago, exactly. 100%. And you're learning still, but the RAG application is still very important till today, because you're going to understand how we can actually retrieve this data, right? But imagine now, going back to the real estate example, you're a business owner, you're getting all this data, you can actually have all these people, maybe your heavy hitters inside of the office are using this. Now you can actually build another app outside with Claude and use webhooks. And now those who are not inside of that top level of chat, maybe it's your administration staff, maybe it's someone else, they can still come in and kind of read that information and read that data. And it is so powerful. All right. And by the way, for those of you who want to know some of the latest stuff, n8n just brought out a skills item that just came out. It just launched 9 hours ago. Okay, so definitely check that out, by the way. And it is very cool. It integrates right with Claude. But good stuff. Yeah, let's continue with this. It is still important to know the foundations here. All right.
To call them through n8n, and it has to know that you have permission to access this information. So you have to set up these credentials, API keys, whatever they're called, whatever you want to call them. So you're going to go in here. You won't have this. You'll have to create a new credential. Kind of seems confusing. You need client ID, client secret. But if you click on Open Docs, it's super intuitive to just follow exactly what they say here. So you'll have the instructions here. Just follow it step by step. But I'll kind of show you what you need to do here. You're going to go into.
All right. So what's happening here now is we're going to actually build this out too, right? So we'll actually kind of go into this, and RAG is still important. All right. So, and it is a good point here, because I think this is a big discrepancy that we have. And Humps 321 just brought it up, right? Which I think is a great thing. We think that this is no longer relevant, but remember, this is deterministic, meaning I can go in, it's not a black box. Whereas with Claude, sure, I could create something like this, but Claude is a black box. I have no clue what it's going to decide or how it's going to do it, because it is a probabilistic system. At least with this now, I can guarantee certain things. At the same time, of course, I can actually build, a simple system with Claude Cowork. Just give it my entire set of directories, and there you go, which is completely fine. But then these other applications where I want to build a custom bot, where I want to have control over the data, where I want to kind of do things a little bit more, those are a little bit harder to create and then also maintain and control. Let's say I want to remove certain pieces of data that are sitting inside of my Claude, right? Let's say I created something like this with Claude. I now have to actually go into the skills, or wherever it is, or wherever I've created the memory. I have to understand what's going on. And imagine now if there's, that's one user. Imagine if there's 10 users, 20 users, 1,000 users, right? Can they access the same data? Sure, maybe if you've got a shared drive. So, it is a lot more complex. And then the amount of tokens that you're using, that's the other thing that you have to consider. A massive amount of tokens that are being done for something that can be done in n8n with a fraction of the tokens, right? It's less tokens because the vector database is there handling that heavy lifting. And so this is the balancing act here, is Today, yes, I could create very fast with Claude, but tomorrow that's going to cost you an arm and a leg. And we see that already with Fable and Mythos, that if you tried it out, I mean, it just went dead. Fable and Mythos kind of went dead. We got 2 days of it, but Fable and Mythos were like double the price. So can you imagine if you built this entire thing? And sure, yeah, it's like, dude, this was from 2 years ago and this is not useful. I don't think it's useful. Today, you may not think that, but tomorrow you're going to be so glad that you actually were able to build this, because now you're going to get a $10,000 bill from Claude one day, right? Or, still another 50 cents type of bill coming in from n8n, because most of the heavy lifting is happening with the vector database. It's happening around the entire AI model itself, and the AI model itself is only doing a small part of the heavy lifting itself. And that's the point of the harness, right? When you're thinking about the harness and the stuff around the large language model, that's what's going on, all right? But great comment, Humps. I really appreciate that. I think it is an important point there, because a lot of us, we're at that point where it's like, man, I could just do this all in Claude, but you're going to pay the price in tokens in the future. And, trying to fix things, that is also a nightmare. But no worries. Good stuff. All right, so let's continue here. So let's actually do the same thing he's doing. There's a trigger manual, so he's going to do a manual trigger. By the way, I'm on a version that is like, 2 years difference, I think 1 or 2 years ahead. And at the same time now, what else did Nate put in? He's going to go inside of his vector database here. Let's see what he's doing here. Let's continue.
To Google Cloud Services. I think it's right here, Google Cloud account. Yeah. You're going to go in here, make an account, set up a project, and then once you're in that project, you need to find what you need to enable. So you've got like Drive, Gmail, and Docs is pretty much what I have here. So like, let's say for Google Docs, I search it, Google Docs API, and then all you have to do really is just enable it. Right here, there'll be a button maybe here that says enable. So you'll enable it, and then you will need to go down to credentials. You're going to create credentials, OAuth client ID, and then it'll be right here basically. It'll have your client ID and your secret. I'm not going to open mine up because it'll expose me, but that's all you need to do pretty much. And then you're going to put the.
So this here is a process, all right? I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that you could do this in like 5 seconds, right? This here is a process if you're setting up the Google stuff, but it is worth it. You do it once and you'll be able to set it up. I've done this setup at least, 50, 60 times at least. One of the challenges when you're actually setting up your Google stuff is you may actually have everything up and running, but then you're like, I'm trying to access this app. Maybe it's Word, not Word, Docs, right? Maybe it's Docs, maybe it's the Google Sheets or whatever. But just like what Nate just showed you, you may actually not have that in your list. So you have to actually go inside of the actual console and type it in and make sure that it is enabled for that API, or else it just won't work. All right, so that's just something that's important there. If someone wants me to walk through that, I'll walk through that. But over here, I'm going to walk through the actual RAG. Actually, you know what? Let me just see here. Let me see what I can do here. I want to actually try and go through this here. But
you need to go down to credentials. You're going to create credentials, OAuth client ID, and then it'll be right here basically. It'll have your client ID and your secret. I'm not going to open mine up because it'll expose me, but that's all you need to do pretty much. And then you're going to put those into here, ID, secret, copy and paste. Then you need to set up OAuth 2. Going to be in the same exact place. OAuth consent screen, pretty much just giving permission. What I did was I added my email here.
By the way, Hums321, just for you and just for some of the viewers as well, I will get into some of the newer content. So tell me, right? Let me know what you guys want to see. Like if you want to see some of the newer stuff, I will go over that. Like if you want to really see that video here, I will literally pay that, okay? I will come back to this video because I know that this is like some valuable content. I know there's someone watching who's like, I really wanted to see that. Okay, I wanted to continue following along, all right? Let me know, all right? I'll actually continue. But just for Humps here, because it's like he or she or whoever they are, they decided to comment, and I really appreciate that interaction. All right, so I'm gonna do you a little favor. We're gonna continue this, but I'm gonna go and open up another latest video of Nate's. Okay, just so that you guys get a little taste here, and I'll give you my opinion on it. All right, I'll do that just for you right now, just quickly. Okay, just quickly. This is what just came out here. Okay, let's go over this one. This one just came out literally 3 hours ago. All right. Literally, I'll just give you a little taste. Let's go through it, okay?
Today, I'm going to explain the different levels of building your own AI second brain. You can see here we have a visual of 3 very different types of data. This one is where we have our context really starting to form, and we're starting to see some relationships, and we're starting to see some different nodes and entities form. And then as we continue to scale this up, add more knowledge, more relationships, we start to get something that looks a little bit more like this, where we have clearly different clusters. And inside of all of these nodes, we can see how they relate to each other. And then over here, we're taking all of those relationships a step farther, and we're able to then start to see how everything really pieces together. Rather than just having files that sort of link back to each other, this is relationship mapping. And so really the idea of an AI second brain.
I did it again. I literally did it again. I can't believe I muted the mic. Y'all didn't hear me. So what I was saying was for Humps 321 and for all my people who are here watching, and if you're commenting, I really appreciate the comments. I want to show you some of that love because you're commenting, you're interacting with me. At least I know I'm not just talking into the void, right? Because I could be talking into the void. So yeah, if you want, I'll show you some of the latest videos, but we'll just watch a couple more minutes here. But specifically, the whole point is learning these foundations because we're going to get to this. I'm doing this every week. I'm coming back every week to do more and more of these videos to get through them as fast as possible as well. So you learn a couple of things and hopefully we can get to like 2 or 3 videos at a time and kind of have some fun. But I'm going to watch a little bit more of this here and then we'll discuss some of this stuff here and talk about AI. Like, I mean, if you want to talk about the latest stuff, cool, I'll do that as well. All right, let's go through it. Let's continue.
Has blown up because we're all trying to get as much information out of our heads into our systems as possible. That's the true value. Your moat is your data, it's your IP. But the process of organizing that into a system so that you can use it with a bunch of different AI models and so that it can actually recall things in a way that makes sense rather than just hallucinating or spending a bunch of your time and tokens trying to look through everything, that's the issue. So clearly all of this is my real data and this is what the actual project looks like. It is my Herk project. I have a bunch of folders and files here. And at the end of the day, that's basically all it is. It is markdown files that are organized in a way that I understand and that my agents understand. And so yes, I'm going to walk you guys through what I have here and how it works, but I also have this other project where I'm going to show you if you're starting from scratch or if you feel like maybe you're in between level 2 and 3, how we can actually look at the differences and what it might look like to scale up your own systems and start to add context in different ways. So super excited.
He's gonna be so upset. Like I'm on top of it. I'm on top of his video. Sorry, Nate. I'm on top of your video, man. All right. So you can see here, he's actually got a great, setup inside of his Claude. And in his second brain, he's actually got all these folder structures here. Okay. The folder structures are the true power. If you didn't know that yet, having incredible folder structures, that is what Claude is all about, especially with Claude Code. It is so much about the folder structures and how you layer things down, your MD files. Like literally, if you want to have a powerful system, just focus on folder structures and really good MD files, and you're going to have like a powerhouse compared to everyone else. All right, I'm going to go back to the other video. We will continue, but if you want me to continue on this video or newer stuff, let me know in the chat, all right? If you're inside of the chat. Okay, I did that just for Humps 321 because he wanted some newer content, but that's okay. We're gonna go back into some of the foundations because, as you can see, even in the new stuff, he's still talking about RAG. He's using light RAG, right? So stuff like that. So there we go. Let's continue. There we go. Oh my gosh, this is fun.
As a test user, so it knows that I have permission or that n8n has permission to access my Google Docs, my Gmail, anything like that. You could also just publish the app, but if you're running into issues on n8n where it's saying that your account is blocked or you don't have permission, it's probably because you didn't set up that OAuth 2 screen correctly.
So that's a key point, okay? When you're actually doing this, you want to publish the app because if you don't, what's going to happen, and this is the actual challenge, especially when you're using Google. For all of you who are using Google and setting up Google, you need to understand this. If you just use the test user account here and you set up your Google account just like this, the trouble is within 7 days or every 7 days, all of your workflows will fail because they only give you like 7 to 15 day gap or something like that, where it's like it works and then it just breaks. All right. That's why you want to actually publish your app so then your workflows won't die. And I've seen that happen too many times where it's like, I created this killer workflow. I actually connected up my, Google accounts and everything's working. And then, it's like a week later, 2 weeks later, it stopped working. And you're like, oh man, this n8n stuff doesn't work. It's not that. It's probably that your actual API key got blocked because they thought it was a test account and that's what happens. So I will not recommend, all right, using it as a test user. Okay. As much as Nate said that because he wants to just speed up through the tutorial. And I know that I used to do that same thing too, but the mistake is in long-term use, you actually have to publish the app and that's going to make sure that you get access to that correctly. And your n8n won't die out, after you've built this beautiful, amazing workflow and you're using it with all your Google stuff. That's a tip for all the Google people, okay, who are setting up Google, all right? Microsoft is a different ballgame, and it is a pain in the butt, okay? That's all I'm going to say. It is a pain in the butt. So this is actually easier. Yeah, really. This is actually easier than setting up the Microsoft stuff. The whole Microsoft side is a whole other beast. All right, anyways, let's continue.
n8n, where it's saying that your account is blocked or you don't have permission, it's probably because you didn't set up that OAuth 2 screen correctly. And finally, while you're setting all that up, there will be a prompt that tells you to enter this redirect URL. So you're just going to copy that, paste it right into there. If I didn't explain that well enough, like I said, just go to Docs, and it's super simple. Okay, so I'm going to connect to my Google Docs account. We're getting a document, we're getting it, and then you need the doc ID or URL. The ID is basically this part of the URL.
I almost did it again. This time I was like, I'm gonna make sure I click on the mic button and make sure I unmute myself. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys a fun little trick. So sometimes you're watching a YouTube video and you're like, oh my goodness, you're watching one of our videos and you're like, there's some information there. I don't know where this information is. So you go to like one of our free school communities, or you'll be like, oh, you're physically typing it in. Now, if you haven't already, if you didn't know how to do this, and I know it sounds silly, right? Because I'm sure some of you are like, I already knew that, right? Literally, you could take a screenshot. If you're on a PC, just do Windows key, Shift, and the letter S. All right, just like that. And now it's gonna let me, oh, there we go. I don't know if you can see that there. It let me drag the entire screen. And so I took a screenshot of what I saw, okay? So let's click and drag that entire screen. Then from there, I can literally go into like something like Claude here. So, or ChatGPT here. Let's go to like ChatGPT or Claude. Let's use Claude. All right, ChatGPT wins. Okay. Hold on. All right. So I am going to paste this guy in, paste my screenshot, and I'm going to say, can you type this out for me from the image? Just like that. And it's literally going to take the image of what I just screenshotted, and it's going to type it all out. All right. Save yourself some time. The AI is there. It actually does all the cool stuff. All right. Now, of course, it's on high. It's cropping the image. It's trying to extract the region. It's doing all that. Now, while we're waiting for the AI to figure that out, there it is. Like, it's already got it. I can copy paste it now. I'm going to go into my Google Drive, and I'm going to actually create a file for this entire thing. So let me actually do that here. I'm going to go to my drive. I'm going to create a new file. All right. So come on, let me create the file. This thing is moving so slow, and I'm in a different window here, which is kind of funny. I think, yeah. It is funny. Let's do this. Where's my live streams? I got my live streams here. All right, there we go. I've got my live streams. You should see it here. There's my live streams. I'm going to create a Google Doc, just like Nate had said, and I will call it my data. All right. Can you guys hear me though? Let me just make sure. Yeah, you guys can hear me. There we go. So I'm going to call it my data here. So this is my data items. All right. And I'm going to now take the stuff that, was inside of Nate's image. Okay, there it is, the exact data, the same thing, and paste it in. There we go. Now I've got the same stuff that Nate had. All right, cool little trick. And, I know for those of you who are so advanced, you're like, oh, yeah, that's easy. All right, that's fine. But for the rest of the people out there, because everyone's at a different learning level, right? At different learning levels, that is the coolest thing, because I remember when I first learned that, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I could do that. All right, that is so cool. Okay, let's continue now. All right, so now I've got that document. I've got data items, and I have to create that node. So I'm going to go into my n8n here. I'm going to place that node here. So here's another tip. If you were used to keyboard commands in the old version, you would hit tab to get to like, this here. All right. Now in the newer version, it's the letter N on the keyboard, N like Nancy. All right. Just so that you know about it, because n8n changes over time. And so I'm going to type in here. This is a doc. So let's type in Google Docs. There it is, Google Docs. I'll just click on that, and I'm going to get a document. That's what that one is. All right. And you want to make sure that you got your credential. So I got my Google Docs account here. And then now I'm going to get a document. And basically, he wanted us to get a document ID or URL. So to do that, once again, just like he said, you just go up into the document, and over here at the top, you can see this here. It's going to start from like the GV. Go all the way down to about that 7, okay? Before the slash. Oh, wait, the S. There we go. Before the backslash. So it's in between the slashes. All right. That is my entire thing. Oh, wait, hold on. There's a little bit more. Hold on. From the 1. There it is. There you go. So between the slashes, that is my actual ID. So I'm going to copy that. All right. I'm going to go back into my n8n, and we're going to paste that ID there and click on execute step. And if I did that right, I get my data. There it is. There's my data. All right. So there we go. We're following along. We've got it all set up here. If you're having any trouble with any of this so far, let me know. We're live. All right. That's the opportunity here. We get to discuss this live. Okay. So now I got this here, and let's continue where Nate was talking. So there we go.
So I copy this here. You just want to make sure you don't get the slash edit, everything after right here. You're going to put that ID into there, and then you want to test it, because then you know if it actually is working or not. We're testing it. We see this is the information, the contact information that we wanted to pull. So that step is working here. Okay. So now we know that that's pulling correctly. Now we need to add a node that's going to push this into Pinecone. So Pinecone vector store. Credentials, once again, you're going to have to set up the credentials. So you're going to create a new one. All this one needs is an API key. Back into Pinecone. Super simple, right on this left-hand side, API keys. Copy that, paste it in n8n, and you're good to go. So.
All right, let's actually do that. Let's like follow it through. You know, that's the whole idea here is having fun, actually building out real workflows. So we got to build in our Pinecone here. So I'm going to hit plus here. I'm going to type in Pinecone. All right, so Pinecone, vector store. There you go. So we'll actually get that there. And let's see here. I want to add documents to a vector store. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. There's also an update. There's retrieve documents. We're going to be doing the add documents one, just like that. All right. And it's going to be asking me for my Pinecone account. Now, if I've already got mine connected, but if you don't, you would just click on this little icon here for edit. All right. And then you're going to get your API key. Once again, it's inside of your Pinecone here. And on the left side, you'll have your API keys. Just grab your API key and you will be connected. All right. So in my case here, I already got my connection and that's it. You just paste your API key and you're good to go. All right. So as you notice, there's a special word here called upsert. Okay. Upsert. It's not insert. It's called upsert. I don't know why. Don't ask me. I don't have your answer. Okay. I don't know why. All these AI companies, they have these like fancy terms. They're all trying to like differentiate. Like, oh my gosh, gonna have a new word, fancy word, upsert. Okay. There we go. All right. So let's continue now and let's upsert our data here. So let's continue on Nate's video.
So I think we'll go with this one here. I think that's the right one. We don't want to retrieve documents. As you can see, this is the operation for this node. We want to insert documents. We'll be retrieving them later, but right now just inserting. And then the index is sample. As you can see, that is what my index is called right here. So we want to make sure that we're choosing sample because that's the one that we're pushing our contact database into. And then finally,
all right. So I had created one. What did I call that thing? I forgot what I called it. That thing. It's like, okay, where is it? It's called, well, I didn't call it n8n test. No, by ID. Oh, I need another API key. I need my other API key. Okay, because it's not connected. So each API key, I'm going to quickly explain API keys to you because I think a lot of people, they think that they know, but I mean, developers really know. But even for those who are just starting out, right? Like, what is an API key? So an API key is simply, let's actually just get this here. Let's get this here. All right. This is for my younger audience who's still learning. And for those who just don't know, right? Don't feel bad. You know what? It doesn't matter what age you are. We're all learning this. And it is incredible. So don't feel bad. All right. So imagine I got a house. Okay. Don't judge my house. Okay. I'm just making a box house here. Okay. Here we go. There we go. I got a house and it's got different rooms inside of it. I'm just drawing these rooms out. Okay. And they are actually inside of the house. Okay. They are inside of this house. Okay. So in any case here, so I've got this house and I want to enter this, but in order to do so, the person who owns this house, let's call him Mr. Google. All right. Okay. Or Anthropic or whatever. Okay. He or she or they, whatever they are, owns this house. So I'm going to go inside of here and I'm going to say, hey, I want to access your house. And they're going to be like, no, right? They're going to say no. So then I'll be like, okay, listen. You don't know who I am, so let me give you my ID. So I'm going to give you my ID. I'm going to create an account, which gives me the right to actually use your system. Now make me a key. So, all right, this guy's going to say, all right, I got your ID. I got your information. Okay, so that's when we set up our Gmail account or whatever it is, or our email and information, and they give us an API. Good. I've given you a key to the front door. You can enter the house. Okay, cool. Now I want to go into that room. And it's like, oh, wait, hold on. The key that I made for you doesn't open that door yet. So if you want access to that door, you got to let me know. And so now you have to go back and you have to make sure that your API key can access that item. All right. Then you have access to the additional rooms and stuff. So that's basically what an API is it gives us access to this other, person's house or this other service. And then from there, depending on what I want to access, I have to make sure that I let that API key have access to those things or else it won't work. In this case here, most likely what's happening is I only have access on my API key, which is this one here, to just that one specific item in the list, that one index. So I'm going to go back here and there's two things that I can do. Either A, I create a new API key that will allow me to access this my vector DB index, or B, I go to my current API key and I add this into the list. So let me go to my API keys. All right. As you can see, it's like all hidden here. This is just one of mine. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to go to settings. Let me see. Can I actually add in? It says permissions all. All right. Let me go into my database. I've got my indexes here. Okay. And I'm going to say here, what's going on here? configure, on demand, metrics, namespaces, browser. Okay, so let's actually go ahead and let's just create a new API key. So I'm going to click on new. All right, there we go. I'm going to call this my next or new n8n test. Oh, no underscores, dash, hyphen, new n8n. Okay, I'm going to click on create, just like that. There we go. I'm going to copy this, okay, and I'm going to click on close. All right, so now I'm going to go to my databases, and I should see all of these here. Oh, and that's silly. That is so silly. My project is called n8n, right? It should be there because these are demos and stuff like that. So it should have actually picked it up here. So let's actually go back here. And I'm making the same mistakes you guys would be making. All right, so here we go. I'm going to click on this, create new credential, API key, paste that in, click on save. All right, there we go. I'm connected. All right, so now I'm going to click on choose. There it is. Okay, so it had to create a new key. That was it. All right, I had to create a new key. So now I could see my vector DB there. Okay, so there you go. All right, same mistake. I'm sure somebody had the same mistake there. Okay, but you got a little bit more of a lesson out of it. That's some fun. Okay, let's continue. So we've got this up and running here. I'm like, at the same time, I was like, I said so much stuff. I hope I didn't go on mute by mistake. Okay, so now we're connected. All right, and we are good. Let's continue where we were at. And there we go.
You want to add a namespace. We're going to call this one contacts. And this is basically.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's add that namespace in. So I'm going to click on add option and clear namespace. No, where is it? I got this guy here. I'm going to be inserting documents. I got that. Embedding is there. Add option. Pinecone, or yeah, there it is. Pinecone namespace. There's no add namespace. There's Pinecone namespace. Okay, so I'm going to put that in. I'm going to say, what is this thing here? This is going to be, I'll copy what he's saying, contacts. All right, there we go. So I've got that there. Let's continue to the next step.
Basically just to organize your data. Basically, if you've got different client information, you want to split that into different namespaces, that sort of thing. It makes the agent more efficient at being able to find what you're looking for, basically. Okay, so we've got that set up here. Now we need to add a data loader. You can leave this as it is, and then a token splitter. And we've got chunk size and we've got chunk overlap. So the chunk size is basically just the number of characters that's going to be in each chunk. Your agent's going to call this tool, go search in the vector database, and it's going to grab chunks and look through them. So the bigger your chunk size, the more data at a time. But like I said, the database wasn't that big for contact database, so I'm just going to go 200 here. And then overlap is how much overlap is going to be between chunks. So we can just leave that at 0. Doesn't really apply too much right now.
All right, let's go ahead and do that now. So we're going to actually put that together. All right, exactly the same way. So yeah, there we go. So that one's good. And then we're going to add in our embeds here, just like that. There we go. Okay, and oh, sorry, not our embeds. What am I doing here? He actually put in the loader, the default data loader. So we're going to go into document, default data loader, just like that. There you go. Okay, and we've got our JSON. We've got our options here. It's text splitting here. It's simple, loading all input, add options. We got metadata. Did he put that in there? I don't think so. Let's go and see that. So remember, he's also using a different version here. So let's actually go through this here. So I have to actually go here. He's got token splitter. That's our next one here. So default data
loader.
See that.
You can leave this as it is, and then
leave it as it is. See, even I make mistakes right now. It's like, okay, leave it as it is. I'm trying to be all fancy here. I'm like, there's got to be something. What am I missing here? No. It's okay. Just leave that as it is. Default data loader. Wait a second. Look at that. I'm missing something. This is now I'm dealing with two different versions of n8n here. All right. So default data loader. I brought that in
here. Now we need to add a data loader.
I need to see this here. This is saying JSON and load all input data. All right. So because I'm on a different version of n8n, so JSON, load all input data, simple. Oh, okay. There it is. Simple custom. In this version of n8n, they put it all into a single node. All right. So this is going to be custom. I'm going to add option here. Wait, no, I put custom. There you go. You see what I mean? All right. In this version of n8n, this is the latest version here. Well, actually, in this video, depending on when you're watching it, because I think this becomes a recording afterwards. I don't know. All right. But for right now, we are live, and this is like version 2 point something, 2.2.2. I don't know. But the point is, that's how you get this thing here. All right. Make sure that you put a custom amount. Then you will get that same stuff there. So make sure your text splitting is custom. It's going to load up as simple, which is every 1,000 characters. You want to do it as custom. All right. See that? There you go. See, always learning, always learning. I'm learning something new. You're learning something new. We're having some fun. All right, good. So now I'm going to put my text splitter here, and we're going to get a character text splitter. I believe that's what it was. Or was it a token one? I think he put a token one. He put a token one. Let's see.
This is as it is, and then a token splitter, and we've got chunk size and we've got chunk overlap.
All right. Token splitter, chunk size and chunk overlap. All right. And he put the chunk size as 200, and I think the overlap, what did he put here?
So the chunk size is basically just the number of characters that's going to be in each chunk.
Okay.
Your agent's going to call this tool, go search in the vector database, and it's going to grab chunks and look through them. So the bigger your chunk size, the more data at a time. But like I said, the database wasn't that big for contact database, so I'm just going to go 200 here. And overlap is how much overlap is going to be between chunks. So we can just leave that as 0.
All right. So just put a 200 over there. All right. Everyone put 200. 200. Let's do that. So token splitter is what we're going to put here. So I hit the plus button here on the token, or the text splitter, token splitter, and I'm going to put the chunk size of 200. That's right. There we go. All right. Add some fun there. All right. Perfect. So now I got this all set up here, and this is the live stream. I'm just going to call this here my inject live stream. So this is like we're doing a rag. So rag, and this is going to be the what is it called? Upsert. Oh my gosh, these words are so funny. Upsert. Okay, so now I got the upsert there. Okay, so now we got still a problem here, right? So we got this set up here, and it's going to do that. But we still need some AI. All right, you know what it's going to do, but we need some AI inside of here. So let's continue. Maybe we will get that answer revealed to us now.
Doesn't really apply too much right now. And then the last thing we need to do is add the embedding. I always pretty much just do OpenAPI or OpenAI. And then again, another credential. This one, again, you're going to need your API key. So another simple one, you're going to go to OpenAI. If you haven't made an account, you have to make this so that you can call the large language model. API keys, and then right here, just copy that value. Once again, I can't show you guys because I'll be exposed. But important step here, make sure that the model is 3 small, because if you remember in our Pinecone vector store, we made the model 3 small. So you got to make sure you do that again here too.
All right. That one's a straightforward one. So I'm going to show that to you right now. We're going to do this, right? Like we are following through on these things, right? And just walk with me, right? Let's do this stuff here. And once again, if you're already, if you're here, you're watching me right now, and you're actually, going to be asking questions, feel free to ask questions. If you want to watch a different video, no problem. I mean, some of you are learning different things, and that's completely fine. We're going to have some fun. We're going to jump through a few videos here and there, but I'm going to do my best to kind of like go through everything as well over time. So you get some more good, like, some juice. We're having fun. All right. So I need to now add in the AI. So I'm going to click on that there. And oh my goodness, I'm blocking everyone right now. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to go down here, and you're going to see here, we got embeddings, OpenAI right here. Okay. So this is the one here. If you could see my mouse, can you see my mouse? Embeddings, OpenAI. There we go. All right. So I'm going to bring my video back up because, I got to put my good looking face on top. There we go. I was on top of Nate, on top of Nate's video the other time. So I was like, all right, sorry, Nate. I didn't mean to do that. All right. Anyways, here we go. So I've got this here. And we've got the embeddings, OpenAI, got the output. And right now, I'm going to choose my credential. I've got my main OpenAI account, and I could choose my embeddings here. So once again, as you remember, we actually use the small one. All right. So text embedding small. There it is. Okay. And I don't think we have to do anything else. I think that's pretty much it. Did you do anything else?
Okay. Now we're just going to want to go ahead and save that and test this workflow. So that's going to run everything. Grab the Google Doc. Oh, you see here, it's not connected to this node. So connect that, save it. Let's run it again. It's going to pull that. Now it's going into here, loaded our data. And now let's go back into the namespace and check if it worked. Oh yeah, I just refreshed as it came in, but I just wasted like 10 seconds of every time. Okay, contacts, there we go. It's in there. We're good to go. So that is this workflow. Our Pinecone, pushing it into Pinecone. Now we're going to do the send email tool. So we got.
All right. So let's actually make sure that that's up and running here. So we got this up and running. Text embedding small. We're going to save this guy here. We're going to execute the workflow. All right. And so you've done the first part of the RAG system. Okay. And if you remember what we were doing here, and we could actually go inside of here. You'll see it here. So now if I go into my vector DB, and you'll see here, this is all the data that came in. All right. We've got all the data here. Okay. And it's like all good. Okay. So now we actually have that there. So if you remember now, going back to our Excali draw here, my house. I love it. Okay. What's going to happen here is I'm going to reset the canvas just like that. Okay. Step 1 was inject the data, put it in, upsert it. All right. So now it is upserted inside of the vector database. Now, not just our agent, like any agent can access this Pinecone database. So whether it's n8n or your Claude Code or Codex or anti-gravity, anything can access this. That is this power here. That is what you've got. You've got your own living database of knowledge. And so when you're thinking about exactly the second brain stuff, so it was good as one of the people commented, earlier, they want to see the latest stuff. Nate was talking about the different forms of second brains, right? This is a powerful use case right here. We're building up our own database of information of our stuff that anything can now access. All right. And it's all available. And so that is the retrieval augmented generation, but only our data. Right. And so many of you who are using things like ChatGPT and stuff, you got years of data because ChatGPT was like the first one. So you got all this information and you're like, man, I can't let go of my ChatGPT. It knows so much about me. And then afterwards you go into Claude and it's like the same thing, but it's like, it knows so much about me, but it costs a lot of money and tokens. And I needed to talk to it on Monday, but it said I'm not allowed to talk to it because I have to wait 5 hours or worse, I'm blocked for a week. That is like the worst feeling. Anyways, let's continue. So now we've got this first step here. All right. So it's now injected the stuff. Our next item here is we now have to actually create the agent. So let's go ahead and quickly see that.
Got send email trigger. So this workflow is going to be called by the agent. When we tell the agent, hey, can you send an email to blank? Then it knows, okay, I've got to use the tool that says to send an email. So the trigger here is when called by another workflow. We haven't made that workflow yet of the AI agent that's going to call this, but that's how this one will be triggered. We'll configure this in a sec. We just wanted to start that off here. The next thing that we need to
Oh, how times have changed. Like this is a really old version of n8n. This is actually execute sub workflow now. Okay. So that's what it is right now. Just for those of you who are wondering, like, what is this thing, right? Like this thing won't work, right? So this is another reason, right? Is many people are coming in and they're starting to learn n8n. You're watching some of these older videos. It's great content, but now the versions have changed, right? So it's like, how do I still create this thing, right? So this here has now been renamed into, a sub workflow. So you can actually get like, when you get a call as a trigger from another workflow here. So I'll show you that right now. So I'll actually go ahead and I'll create this next node here. And a little bit of a top secret trick. If you wanted to, you could actually do it inside of here too, right? So that's like a little more advanced. You know what? I actually like that. So I can actually go inside of here and I can just type in here, trigger sub workflow or execute sub workflow. There it is. All right. And I can actually add that as a trigger. So when I actually call it, I could actually call itself. Okay. This is like a fun little thing, but for others, you'll create another workflow, right? If you're following along, you'll create another separate workflow and you'll put this actual node in, but this is like a quick little trick for you. Little piece of tricks that we actually use, especially if you created like thousands of workflows, you kind of know these little tricks. So this one here, it'll just call its own self. All right. At the same time, you just have to be careful because it could go on an infinite loop and then your server crashes. Okay. But aside from that though, this is a fun little trick. So you keep it all within a single workflow. All right. So when this is executed by another workflow, which in this case here, I'll make it execute on itself. All right. Let's continue what we're building here. So some good rag. There we go.
to do here is grab Gmail and a lot of integrations again, a lot of actions here. Obviously we just want to send a message. So we're going to click send a message. I think this is the last credential you need to connect, I hope, because it's super annoying, but once you do, then they're all there. So Gmail, you're gonna have to get client ID and client secret, but I'm pretty sure that should be easy now that you already have all this other stuff set up and you've got your credential screen right here. So super simple.
So make sure, and I've made this mistake before, if you're adding a new credential and you set up all the Google stuff, make sure that you go back into your Google console, okay? It's called the Google console, and you add in what you're trying to get. So in this case here, you wanna get Gmail. Right. So that's the entire thing. Make sure that you go in and you type in Gmail, or else when you come back here, you're like trying to connect, it won't connect to Gmail. And that's because you didn't add it inside of the list. All right, let's continue.
All right, so we've got all that set up. We're going to be sending a message, and all of this stuff is going to be variable, right? So you want to change to an expression because that's going to change. Subject expression, email type, I'm going to do text. The message is definitely going to be variable. And then we got some options here. Append n8n, you want to turn that off, otherwise at the bottom it's going to say like this message was generated by, or sent by n8n. Turn that off. BCC, also variable. CCC, also variable. And if these things are left blank, it'll just be left blank. It won't really.
So now, this here, because it's the older n8n, you notice that we don't have the AI buttons. So in the newer version of n8n, we actually have the AI buttons. So you can actually click on allowing AI to decide what to do, especially if this is going to be used as an AI agent tool. All right. the AI can decide how to actually fill these things in. But for, the old school version, it was manual, right? So in this case here, we're actually going to put this inside of here. And I think he just had like this email thing. So let me just put this inside of here. What was it? He added that, and then he added a Gmail note. So we're going to generate a Gmail email. Now in this case here, I'm going to create it as a draft. Very, very important point. So as you're using n8n for a long time, you do not want to start sending emails just like that. All right. Very, very bad. Okay. And it's not good design. You want to have something called human in the loop. Okay. Now, of course, at the early days, we didn't know. We were still all learning. We were all still building. So, no issue there. But as you start building more of these, you want to have human in the loop. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create that Gmail node. All right. And I'm going to select it there. And I'm going to now create an email in draft. So right here, create a draft. All right. Just like that. And so now you choose the credential. I've already got that credential set up. All right. And you choose draft mode. Now over here, you want to put something. All right. So for now, I'm just going to put hello. And then email type as text. I'll just put in hello again. All right. And then you got your add options. He was putting in BCC and a few others. You could add in whatever you want here. Okay. I'm just putting in just these guys here. And I can click on execute step, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right. So there we go. I hit execute step. All right. There we go. It's actually now created something. Okay. And oh my goodness, it says there's a problem executing. The workflow has issues and cannot continue. Oh my goodness. What could have happened? Oh my gosh, that's like crazy. I like have like an actual bug. Can you imagine that? I actually have a bug here. All right, let's go through this here. What's going on here? So, right here. This is the one. What is going on? What is it saying here? This workflow isn't set to accept any input data. Fill out the workflow input schema or change the workflow to accept data passed to it. All right, so let's actually do that here. Okay, so we have to actually make it so that this thing can actually take data in. I'm going to save this here, and I can go into my settings. They've changed things a lot, so let's see here. Can I take in here execution logic? I got execute workflow, no workflow. There we go. I've got, this is error handling, no. Time zone, save execution, available in MCP. That could be it, but it's probably not it. Let's go into this here. That should fix itself now. The workflow has issues and cannot be executed. All right, so this is another fun thing here. Sometimes you won't have the answer. You'll be like, what's going on? Especially when n8n changes things, right? So let me just turn off my video and show you kind of what I'm going to do. Right, so you get an idea of what you would do in a situation and how we problem solve this, right? So one of the things I like to do is I take a screenshot, literally, of all of this here. There we go. I just took a screenshot. And if you want to know what version you're on, click on settings, and you can click on personal there. All right. And on the bottom left, you're going to see here version 2.22.5. All right, there we go. For like 2 seconds, I showed you guys my entire thing. Oh my gosh, where's my video? There I am. Yeah, okay. So I took a screenshot, and now you want to go to like ChatGPT here, and we'll create a new chat, okay, new context, and then I'm just going to paste that screenshot. I'm going to be like, fix it. I don't know what's going on. Fix it. Oh my gosh, it's actually going to generate an image. No, don't generate an image. This is classic. I thought it could, oh my gosh, why is he doing that? No, it's going to take forever. Okay. Yeah, don't do that. Give some better context. That was stupid on me. Yeah, that was so stupid of me. Okay. Not fix it. Here we go. All right. There is an issue with this n8n workflow. All right. It will not allow me to do a sub workflow trigger in the same workflow. Tell me the next steps. There we go. All right. And I'm showing you guys this just because, I want you to understand some of the troubleshooting processes that we go through, because n8n is always changing. A lot of the stuff is always changing, and it's confusing to even keep up to date. That's how fast this stuff is moving in AI. Literally last week, everything goes and changes, right? And this is n8n. There's also Claude. I mean, you saw Fable and Mythos. Can you imagine you were learning Fable and Mythos, and now, boom, no more access, right? What do you do, right? So it's like, as developers, we used to memorize stuff. Like I've got like thick books of like, DirectX, for those of you who know, or C, C++ and all that, right? And we used to memorize all this stuff. It's like, oh my gosh. And when you knew it, you knew it. That was it. Like you were the walking AI, right? People came to you to ask about stuff. Now it's like that era is gone. If you're a developer out there, if you're actually thinking about, oh my goodness, I got to know stuff, No, you just need to know the foundations and give it to the AI. Get the AI to help out because number one, it's going to bring you live data. It's going to go and research the latest stuff. Number two, it's going to save you time. You don't need to know everything. All right. You just need to know how to problem solve. That is the key in the future era of everything. Become a great problem solver. Stop trying to think that you know everything. And I think that was the biggest challenge for me as a developer because in the developer world, we're just like, oh, I know everything. That's it. I'm the smartest, right? But it's like it took some time to actually get to that point where it's like, no, I don't know everything. I'm gonna let the AIs, which actually know so much more, put them to to work and start doing that. This is the future. Become a problem solver and let the AI help you out. All right, so let's see what it says here. It says your issue is that when it's executed by another workflow, the trigger is not meant to live inside the same workflow with your manual RAG upsert flow. All right, so the n8n subworkflow trigger should start workflow that is called by another workflow. And n8n docs say that should be the first node in the workflow. Oh my goodness, they changed this on that. Okay, I used to be able to call this thing in the exact same workflow. All right, so that's wild. They changed that on me. Okay, whatever. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to copy this. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to hit Control X because I can actually take that. All of that JSON is there. I will create a new workflow. Okay, just because it told me to create a new workflow. There we go. I'll hit plus, new workflow. There we go. And I'm going to paste it inside of here. And I'm going to call this my AI agent. Okay, so Nate Herk watch party underscore my AI agent. I could put underscores here. There we go. And instead of hyphens. There you go. Thank you, n8n. Thank you, Jan, and the whole team there. All right, cool. All right, so now I've got this here, and it should be able to be called by another workflow. So now let's test this out here. It's still saying the same thing. All right, it says it cannot be executed. Fix the item first. The workflow has issues and cannot be called. Why? Okay, I'll set mock data. Save this thing here. All right, now let's execute. Thank you. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm gonna go into my drafts, refresh my drafts, and here we go. You can actually see this here. It says hello, hello. There we go. All right, so it's got it into my draft email. All this is there. So it is working. That's right. That's good. It is actually working. We like that. All right, so now let's go on to our next steps here. So I got this inside of here, and I want to make sure that everything actually makes sense here. So let's go back here. I want to see if Nate actually put something else inside of here. So it says here, what do you do? When an execute workflow node is called, yeah, the execution starts here. That's the trigger. It's the same trigger. I don't know why it's doing that.
Because likely this email will be a personal agent or sorry, this agent will be a personal agent or for a specific client, and they'll always be sending from the same address. So you can leave that as fixed and just leave it blank for now because we have, if you paste that in here,
Once again, I did it again. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I did that. So I was just moving around because we were already saw that part. So I'm moving it over here. I'm moving it out over here. Okay. Blah. I'm having like so many words coming out at the same time. That's crazy. Okay, there we go.
come out of here, copy this node, just, Command C, and then we're gonna use chat. So you paste that in here, it's gonna show you basically like the JSON script that is behind this node. All we need here is we're looking at the parameters because that's what's gonna fill in. So I'll try to explain that better in a sec, but let's just grab these parameters real quick. I'm gonna copy those parameters, paste them back in here, and ask chat to list these parameters in a query field as a stringified list. You also want to exclude options. I hope it understands that we're talking about this parameter. Okay, that is not what we wanted. Let's try that again, chat. List these parameters in a query field as a stringified list. Let's just try that. Okay, not cooperating. Okay, this looks more like it. There's lots of ways to do it. I wanted to show you guys how to use chat to do it because it's easier for low code, no code. So this looks more right. It didn't exclude options, so we're gonna ask it to do that.
This is like the 6th time I've done this with the microphone. I am sorry, guys. I'm just going to leave the microphone on. All right. I'm just going to leave it on and I'll just talk in the background as much as I can. It's just like, dude, like sometimes it's just like, I know you want to hear the audio at the same time and then my reaction at the same time, but I didn't want like me fidgeting around here causing trouble with your audio so you could hear stuff. But yeah, whatever. I'm just going to leave the mic on. You're just going to leave it on. Can't believe it. Like the 50th time here. My goodness. All right. So I was going over strings and data and all that. Hopefully you guys heard that. But basically we stringified the information there. Okay. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, that looks a lot more right. So you can go ahead and copy this here. But I'm also going to show you guys the way that I usually do it because it's easier to read and easier to troubleshoot. And that's, you're going to put it right in here basically. So I'm not going to use the one that chat just gave us. I'm going to use this. I just think this one's a lot easier to read because...
All right. So what he did there was he actually created a different stringified system here. And this one here is usually used in get and put commands inside of a URL. And what's happening is every one of these turns into its own variable. So you see send to equals, well, nothing, right? It's going to be empty. Then you've got an ampersand, which tells us that the next item is a different variable. So ampersand is what is the actual character in between all of these. So that way you could see all these different things. So there's send to, there's subject, there's email type, there's message, there's append attribution, there is BCC list, and there is CC list and sender name. So those are all the variables inside of this entire thing here. And he has to actually add a quotation at the very end to make it a proper string. All right, so I'm actually going to take that exact same thing there. And once again, here's that trick again, which I told you, if you want to, save some time, just take a screenshot and just say, AI, type this for me. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay. I need this. Type it for me. So I can copy paste it. There you go. I'm just putting that inside of there, right? Saving some time, right? That's all we want to do is just save some time and use this new technology to save us some time. How about you guys? Are you guys actually creating like something right now inside of AI? Like, what are you guys doing, with n8n? I know some of you are not using n8n anymore. Some of you are still using n8n. I use n8n all the time, along with Claude. I put them together. It is a powerhouse. But let me know, right? Let me know your thoughts inside of the comments here. I mean, if you're on the live call right now, I'm going to see the comments and I'll be able to talk to you. But if this is a video recording later, then go ahead and just type that in as well. I'd love to hear some of your feedback. All right, here we go. So we got this in JSON. And as you can see, it did it correctly as well. It already put that little, quotation at the very end. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to put this inside of here. And I'm going to click on this little edit icon here. And I'm going to paste it in just like that. There we go. And I'm going to hit save. Cool. Come on, save. It says expected property after this here. Well, that's not good. What is it saying? Expected. Okay, cool. Well, I'll give you one. I don't think it needs that, but all right, whatever. There. Take that. I don't think it needs that though. Why are you yelling at me? Expected a semicolon or a colon? Why would you expect a colon? Oh yeah, duh. This is called something else. You want to call this query. Duh. There you go. All right. And this has to be in quotes. Oh, my JSON days. My JSON days. There you go. Don't forget to have a key value pair. That is the lesson of today. Key value pairs. Thanks for coming on in. Key value pairs. Okay, let's go ahead and hit save. All right. And now we're good. All right. So that's a key value pair in JSON. That's my query. There we go. All right. Let's continue where we were at. All right. There we go.
Basically, all you're saying is the agent has to figure out who's going to send to, and the next one is going to be subject. The next one's going to be email type is already text. Message is what? So if that makes sense, it's a lot easier to read that in my opinion than seeing all these slashes and close brackets, square brackets, all that kind of stuff. So that's why I use sort of this what do you want to call it, taxonomy, but you got to make sure it's in a query field and in quotes like this. So probably doesn't make a ton of sense right now, but let's just take a step back. So when the agent is understanding that you need to send an email, it's going to take your message. So if it says, can you send an email to Phil Dunphy asking what's up? It's going to understand, okay, so we need to send it to Phil Dunphy. We're going to make a subject based on what they prompted me. So the subject here is going to be, what's up? The message is going to be, hey, how's it going? Was wondering how you're doing, you know, what's up with you? That sort of thing. And then it will leave these other ones blank because we didn't mention a BCC, CCC, that kind of thing. And then before we push it into Gmail, we need to grab OpenAI, and we're going to do message model. Connect that. You should be good on that already. We've got text, message model. We're going to choose 4.0, just seems to work the best. And then
I miss 4.0. Oh my goodness. Those days are gone. Oh man. If you're watching this right now, it's like 4.0 was like a great model. This is what like pissed off everybody because it's like OpenAI just completely destroyed it. They said, nope, no more 4 for anybody. 4.0 is gone. So it's like when I see this, I'm like, oh, it's so sad. I miss the 4.0 days. We used to have 4.0. Yeah. So 4.0 was like a great model because you could actually like talk to it and it'll do stuff. Now it's like overly sensitive. If all those who are using ChatGPT, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's like you do anything, it's like, sorry, I can't help you. Or I can't like it's like it causes so much trouble now compared to before. It's like I could just give it whatever I want, and it's like I expect the output, right? 4.0 days. Let me continue.
In this message, we were basically going to say, parse the query, the one that we just put into the previous tool, and output the parameters separately. I like to use system prompt so it knows it's sort of its role. We've got simplify output. We want to output the content as JSON, and then we also need to add this message here because it doesn't.
Okay, let me at least catch up now. I'm going to actually go and put this stuff in here. So we need to actually add an OpenAI node, and specifically, which one did he add? He just added just like a generic OpenAI node here. Which one did he add? Let me just see here.
Push it into Gmail. We need to grab OpenAI, and we're going to do message model.
Okay, so it's a basic message to the model. That's all it is. So let's actually go over that right now. Next, let's grab that there. All right, so OpenAI, going to message a model. So message a model, OpenAI, OpenAI, there you go. Blah. Okay, message a model. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Message a model. Oh, it's the very first one. There it is, the very first one. Okay, and so we're going to put this inside of here. We're going to choose our model. All right, and do I have access to 4.0? I might. I've got GPT-4. I'll use the latest. Do we still have access to 4.0? Let me see here. GPT-4.0. Is it there? I do have access to 4.0. Okay, I can get access through the API. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I'm always, dude, that is wild because I thought I couldn't get access to it anymore. Ooh, I'm going to do some fun stuff. You know what? The irony here is that now I do a lot of offline AI as well. And so like n8n and DeepSeek and stuff like that, or QN and DeepSeek, and just GLM came out. The latest 5.2 just came out. So that's like a really, really good model. But yeah, you can actually use stuff offline. They are really good. So I actually use a lot of those. Gemma, such a good model. But I use the QN 1.7 billion model on my system. And it's so good because I get like a lot of good stuff. And I don't have to worry about going online or tokens or anything like that. Just unlimited use. I think that's where we're going inside of the future, you know, just getting all that stuff. All right, cool. So I got this here. We're going to use GPT-4.0. What else did he set up? He set up a whole bunch of other things here. Let's go and see what he set up here. I'm going to increase the size here so we can actually see what he did. He typed in all kinds of stuff here. So he got 4.0, and then he's actually stringifying the JSON query. So parse the query and output the parameters separately. So let's do that there. So parse the query and output this parameter separately. And oh my goodness, what's going on there? All right, so, and he's actually got this as a system message. So let's go into our system message here. So this here is a text. This is going to be the system message. All right, and we are going to say here, parse the query and output the parameters separately. All right, cool. Let's do it. So parse the query. There we go. Parse the query. The query. It sounds like a pirate, right? Parse the query. Parse the query and output the was it parameters? I don't know what it was. Like, was it parameters? Output the parameters separately. Okay, gotcha. Output the parameters separately. Okay, separately. Cool. So we got that there. Now, here's the key here. This is the system message. So for those of you who don't know AI, this is fine, right? We're all learning, especially for my younger audience or for my new audience, those who are just new into AI. Inside of large language models, we usually have several different areas. One of them is being the system message or the system prompt, which defines what this AI is about to do. You are a AI consultant, or you are to act like a web developer, you are to act like a financial planner, whatever that is, that's the system message. Then the user message is what you're going to do with that, right? So for me, I'm an AI professional, but then someone comes up and says, okay, now teach me AI. So that is my user message. I am going out to teach the person, but my system message is I'm an AI professional. That's what I do, right? So that's the sort of idea. So this is the system prompt. This is what we're doing here. And now we're going to go to the user prompt here. So let's see what Nate put inside of the user prompt here. He put something. Okay. So he took the text in directly and he's going to stringify that. So he's going to take the entire query and stringify that. So let's actually put that in as well. So let's go ahead. And here's my text. Where's my text here? That's a draft. Create a draft. This is the message. So I have to actually, okay. So here's a little trick. Always look on the left side to see what's going on. I can also see it via JSON. What's happened here is that my AI node has been connected at the very end. All right. So that's what's going on. So I'm going to swap this data here, move this guy here, just like that, connect it up. There we go. All right. So now I should see the correct stuff there. There it is. That's my query. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to add another message here for the user. So there's my user message. Okay. So that's what you can see here. This is the user message. And then I'm going to click and drag query inside of here. Okay. And now I need to stringify this. So there is something called JSON stringify. So JSON stringify. Come on. I did that right. We're going to see that here. I definitely did not do that right. JSON.stringify. Dude, that is, yeah, funny. Dot. And it's not called stringify. It's called stringify. Okay, stringify. Did it do it? It still didn't do that. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's do this in a different way here. So, // where's my brackets? There it is. JSON dot stringify. Ooh, it doesn't like that. Okay, let's see if it actually even works. Execute the step. Bad request. It doesn't like that. What is going on?
Values over here as objects rather than a string, and that's not good because it's going to give you an error and say expected string but receive an object, that sort of thing.
He's got JSON.stringify. It's the exact same thing. I am doing the same thing. Oh my goodness, I'm doing the exact same thing. All right, so whenever you have that, remember, here's our little technique. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know what is the problem we're trying to solve. I'm trying to figure out why this is giving me this error here. So I'm going to just now take a screenshot, just like that. There we go. Boom. And then I'm going to go into my ChatGPT and I'm going to create a new chat. I'm going to say, why is this not working? Okay. I'm trying to stringify my data, right? Stringify my data. There you go. And so now this is exactly it, right? You guys are seeing this here. You're not going to know all the stuff. Stop trying to memorize, crazy amounts of documentation on things. It's great to look at it, to research what's new. But if you are one of those people who's like trying to be the encyclopedia, that is like old school. Okay. Stop doing that. Get AI to do it. So here we go. It's failing because this here, JSON.stringify, it's case sensitive. Oh, so it must all be lowercase. Duh. Me as a C guy. Oh my goodness. There it is. Oh my, I feel so silly. All right, there we go. And we'll run that. There it is. Look at this. We've got all of this here. Here are the parameters parsed. And we've got the send to and all this other stuff. Good. Simplify output. Cool. And I think he had something else there. Output content as JSON. Okay, let's see here. Add built-in tool. No. Add option. Do we have that here? Conversion instructions, maximum, built-in, metadata, parallel tool calls, prompt. Where's JSON, man? Like, come on. Output format. JSON. There's JSON object, JSON schema. Let's see here. Was it JSON schema that he had?
And really frustrating because, well, I just hate when things don't work, right? So, okay. We've got that set up. Now we need to come into here and actually set up Gmail so it knows.
All right, so I think it actually did it like a JSON schema. So let's actually see here. Do we get a schema? What's my schema here? I see this here. Here are the parameters from the query. Send to all this. That's the message. No, I want it to actually, come out as this here. Oh, my schema. No. Let's do object. Let's see what happens there with the object. Object version here. There it is. That's the stuff. That's what I'm talking about. I wanted it to come out as an object. My apologies, people. Bring it out as an object. As an object. I object. I'm just having fun with y'all. All right, let's continue.
What to send and who to send it to. It's really simple. We've got our content over here from that JSON query, and we're just gonna drag stuff in. So send to is the to for the Gmail node. Subject, super easy, right? Got message, BCC, CCC, and then here we're just gonna go ahead and sender name. It's gonna be from Nate.
All right, let's go and connect this up. That is like the easiest part, isn't it? It's just like, all right, let's connect up all this stuff here. So I'm gonna go here, and then I'm going to have here for the subject line, I'm gonna delete this, and I'm just gonna put it here. Where's my subject? Subject is subject. All right, and then I got my message is gonna be message, this guy here, okay. And then after that, I got my BCC, which is over here, BCC list. And then I got my CC list, okay, cool. And now I have my message, I got everything. I think I got all that now from, where's my from? Okay, from alias or name. Okay, I'm gonna say from Solomon. Okay, cool, Solomon at solomonchrist.com. All right, and I think that is it. What else do we need? To email, yeah, duh. We should actually put the email. Send to subject, BCC sender name. Where's the to email? Send to, that is it. Okay, so to email, send to. Yeah, that'll help. I mean, yeah, gotta send it somewhere. All right, so now we've got all this stuff set up here. Let's go ahead and now continue where we were at.
Okay, save that, and now we just need to do one more thing. We're gonna grab set, edit fields, set. So this is manually making a field, manual mapping, add one here. We're gonna call that response, make sure it's a string, and then we're gonna say sent. That's all we need to do here. Save that, and our email tool should be done. So the reason.
Okay, so we're actually gonna create that right now. It's a set command, all right? So let's go ahead and do that. Cool, let's do that here. We're gonna do this here, and we're gonna set node. All right, there it is. And we're gonna say here, what was it called again? Just gonna say send, and I forgot the name of the actual thing. It's just here, there's so much data.
We're gonna call that response.
Response, that's it. Okay, so let's go ahead and call this response. Response is sent. All right, cool. So now we got that, and that is my last string going out here. Okay, so now here's another thing. Many times you guys are like doing this here, right? And you got like your workflow all over the place. Here's a fun little command here. If you didn't know, you can click on this little tidy up icon right here, and boom, cleans it all up. All right, just in case you didn't know that. Okay, n8n has a lot of cool stuff. Okay, there we go. So now we got that. Let's continue.
Make sure it's a string, and then we're gonna say sent. That's all we need to do here. Save that, and our email tool should be done. So the reason why we have to do this is because the agent sends the query over here. It's gonna go through here, and then we need to go back to the agent. We need to communicate back to the agent that we did this task, that it's done. So then it can communicate back to the human that prompted it. Okay, we did it. So this sets the variable, the field as of response to sent. So then the human knows, right? Okay, so we've got Pinecone, we've got the send email. Now we're going to actually make the agent. So first step again, we have to put a trigger. We're going to use on chat message this time because we want to.
So what we're going to do is actually, to save some time, I'm actually going to just talk through if I see anything specific. What I'm going to do is at the end, when he's actually created the entire agent, I'm going to take a screenshot. And this is a little additional move. If you didn't know, you can literally give that to Claude now and say, make this workflow for me. Yeah, it's pretty wild. If you didn't know that you could do that, you can actually do that, right? So I'm going to show you how to actually do that. Just another way of doing things. But let's actually walk through this video, and I'm going to show you that. And then I think we'll end it off there for the night, because it's like, all right, we're already at almost 2 hours. Oh my gosh, it's like 2 hours. We're almost there. Okay, so I think we'll end it in about a little bit.
Trigger the agent, or trigger the workflow by talking to it. So we're going to leave that as is for now. The next thing to do is add the agent. We can also just go down here to advanced AI. You see there's the templates. There are different things here with, text classifier, question and answer chain. We're just going to grab the agent. It's going to be a tools agent, and we're not going to take from the previous node automatically. We're going to define that, and this is going to be it's going to be this variable right here, JSON.chat input. It's not working yet because we haven't actually ran anything, but that is what's going to fill in over here, basically saying like this is what the human just asked us to do. So we're going to go to require specific output formula and then system message. This is where you're actually going to prompt the agent. So we're not going to do that yet, but just wanted to add in these options real quick here so we don't forget. And then I want to return immediate steps so that when things error and don't work, we can see what the agent did exactly. So this is.
So one of the things that you want to do is, especially when you're watching videos and you're learning, right? So this is another thing here, a set of learning techniques that I recommend, especially if you're learning n8n, if you're learning Claude, or if you're learning any of the AI things that we're all teaching. Take screenshots if you think that something is important. Take a screenshot; it'll help you out. That's what I definitely recommend that you do because it's so helpful. In this case here, I'm just going to quickly create this AI agent in like 2 seconds. I'll just show you how it's done. So he just created this inside of like an empty workflow. So he's actually let's see here, just did a manual trigger, I believe. Is it a manual trigger? No, he did a chat trigger. There we go. So he's got all this here, and let's actually just put this down over here before he actually does that. There we go. So I'm going to do a manual trigger and just create an AI agent. That'll take a second. All right, so there we go. I'm going to save this, my AI agent. So I'm actually going to call this here message my model. So message my model, cool. And then I'm going to create another one called Nate Herk Watch Party. Nate Herk Watch Party. Okay, and we're going to call it AI agent. So new workflow. There we go. And we're going to be like, all right, what did I paste here? Okay, watch party, and then this is going to be the AI agent training. Cool. So I'm going to have a little chat. There we go. Chat trigger. All right, cool. Chat and on trigger chat. There you go. Then we're going to get an AI agent inside of here. It's N. Come on. And we got AI agent. There it is. AI agent. I love it. All right. And we have to change this from connect the chat trigger to define below. There we go. Let me just get those settings there. Okay. Look at this. This is classic. Can you remember that time when there was like this tool agent we had to actually have? Now it comes into the actual tools themselves. But wow, this is like, okay. Those are the times. All right. n8n has changed a lot in those times. It's refreshing to see some of the new stuff that has changed from the old stuff. But okay, so we're going to define it below. And basically, we're going to take the chat input. And then we're going to say, you are a helpful assistant. Yeah, that's fine. And we're going to return immediate steps. Require specific output format. All right, cool. So let's do that there. Define below, require specific output format. And let's see here. We want specific return intermediate steps, I believe it was. Yep, return intermediate steps. So make sure that that is turned on as well. And we're going to change this
You
here.
can come back here and prompt this later, but
we're going to just say here, you are a helpful assistant. You are a helpful assistant. Yeah, like you said, we're going to just prompt this later. It's okay. There we go. So we got that there. Connect this guy up here. There we go. And we want the chat input when chat message received. We'll just say hello quickly. So one of the things is like, you won't have data. Just type in hello inside of the chat, and now you got some data, right? It's not going to work. It's going to basically fail on us, which is fine. And then now I've got this data here. So you're a helpful chat assistant, and then boom, throw that inside of there. Cool. All right, let's go back to the video.
that's a good start. So you can see we've got different things we can add to the agent: output parser, tool, memory, chat model. We're just going to touch tool and chat model for today. So chat model, same thing. OpenAI, connect it. We're going to grab 4.0, especially for one that's going to be talking to us and thinking.
4.0, yeah.
Tool. We're going to call an n8n workflow. This is obviously the one that we just made. The tool that's a send email.
All right, so let's do that right now. So we're going to go inside of here. We're going to choose our chat model. All right, and in this case here, oh my gosh, let me just move that thing there. There we go. Chat model. We want the OpenAI one. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I can see it. It's coming up. There it is. OpenAI chat model. All right, I've got GPT-5 mini. I know it's so sad, but we're gonna just use that anyways. All right, so we'll use that. There we go. And now he wants to use a tool. So the tool that we're gonna use here is we're gonna call a sub agent or sub workflow. Right, so call a sub workflow. Workflow. So there it is. Call n8n workflow tool. So now I can actually choose which workflow. And in this case here, I'm going to type in message my model. There we go. And that's the one. That's the one that we just created. Okay. So now I've got that there, and everything else should be good. So now let's continue where we were at.
Just want to keep everything organized here, especially once you start to have multiple tools given to an agent. And then you need to give it a description of when is the agent going to use this tool. So call this tool when you need to send an email. There we go. It's
all right. So call this tool when you need to send emails. So we can actually type that in as well. So let's see here. So you could call it, let's see here. So right here, it's saying Call this tool when you need to send email. So you could do that. There are other ways as well. For right now, though, we're just keeping it simple. Just saying that there. And it's got the OpenAI chat model. What's it saying to us? Select the model. Okay, fine. Yes, 4.0, 4.0. Let's do 4.0. GPT 4.0. GPT 4.0. Where's 4.0? There it is. I love 4.0. Hey, there we go. We got GPT 4.0. All right, so we got that all set up. Okay, let's save that. Let's continue now.
Simple as that. Source, database, the workflow we can find from a list. You can also do it by ID, but you'd have to grab that URL thing. So the list is easier because we have the send email right here. Field to return response. So that's when we set the response field earlier to send. And let's see.
All right, so that's the thing. We want to make sure that response is there because it's an important thing. So let's start, look at our thing here, field to return. Oh, wow, like I don't see a field to return here. So hopefully it's going to pick that up. But let's see if we got it in settings. No. All right, let's see what happens if we actually run this here. Okay, let's actually try this out here.
See, is there anything else that we need to do on this one? Specify input schema. Yeah, that's what we need to do. We want to define below, and this is like the schema that this tool is going to.
There's a lot of new things inside of the new n8n. We did this as a tool entry, so I believe that this should pick it up anyways. Got from list. This is sub workflow. Let's see here. So it's not going to pick up the node AI. Let's see where our errors are right now. Let's see what's going on here. You can actually use tools. All right, and let's see here. Use the tools as requested. Okay, and let's see if I can actually add that here. So system message, enable, we got the batch, enable the fallback models. We've got that there. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay, can you send a quick email to bob@bob.com? There we go. Let's see if it's going to do that. Who knows? Oh, it called it. It called it. Okay, let's see if I have that in drafts. No, nothing. I got excited. I thought it was going to work. It didn't work. It didn't work at all. All right, so let's go and see what happened here because definitely this thing executed somewhere. But what we want to do now is we want to go and find that actual workflow. So let's go and find that there. Okay, message a model, go back to AI agent training here. So we'll actually go to this model here and we'll just open it up because it's like, oh my gosh, this should have worked. Why didn't it work? I don't know why it didn't work. I don't know. We'll just figure it out. I have no clue. We're going to just see this here. So it definitely called it. I can go into my executions and see what happened there, right? So it's saying it succeeded. Hit refresh. I don't see it here. What happened here? Oh, it broke right here. Look, it broke right here. So it's trying to send a message, but there's no information that came out. So this was all right, but oh my goodness, look, the data that was supposed to come in didn't come in correctly. So what data came in? Oh, there's a classic issue here. So I've got this pin here, but now I've got to basically make sure that this is correctly getting the correct data that I need here. So I am going to, let's see here. Let's see what happens here. So I've got this definition here. I'm going to try and add some fields here. Let me see if I can actually do that, if that is exactly what it needs. I'm trying to see how Nate had set this up before, because this is coming in like that. Send to field has to have some other stuff here. So send to has to have probably a field here. So let's actually quickly take a look because I guarantee something's going on here. This is exactly the sort of stuff that we do when we're going through these things.
Going to be using. So what we need to do, save that real quick. We need to go back to our send email tool. We need to make sure that the schema is the same from right here because this is what we gave this tool. So copy that. Head back over to our agent.
You see, I wasn't going crazy. I thought I was going crazy. I wasn't going crazy. I actually, yeah, there we go. See, maybe you have to wait a little while. Be patient. Watch the video a little longer.
Which is this one. I should name this real quick so we don't get confused. Okay, and then we're going to put that, we're going to paste that right back into here. There we go. So this tool should be set up now.
All right, so let's actually see what he's got here. So he's got a send email node here, which has send email is the name of the tool. So he actually created like a custom tool, I think. So let's actually just see what's going on here because I got this tool here. There's an output parser. So I'm just going to be like AI agent tool, I guess. I think he did something else here. So AI agent can call another tool, and I think it was send email. So he named it send email. So send email. There we go. And then from here, call this tool when you need to send an email. Cool. So same thing. Oh, ha 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 ha. Here's a little secret tip. You see this button? Depending on which n8n you're on, I could just click on this and it'll just automatically define it for me. All right. So, but I'm actually just gonna say here, call this tool when you need to send an email. Just like that. All right. So send an email. Email. 2 eyes, no, 1 eye. There you go. All right. And then from here now, let's go back to what he's got. The source is the database. So I'm going to add here, what's my source here? Return immediate steps, autosave, max iterations, enable batch processing, require specific output format, enable fallback model, system message, max iterations, return intermediate steps, automatically pass through binary, tracing, autosave, enable streaming, batch processing. Yeah, that is not it. It gave me another set of tools. Oh my goodness. This is so confusing. So sad. I've got another tool here. So I'm going to create an OpenAI, use the GPT again. All right, GPT 4.0. So GPT-4.0. There it is. Cool. All right. And so now the tool that I need is this guy here. So let me actually just get this, go over here, and I'm going to say call a sub. What is this? Uses another n8n workflow as a tool. That's the one I needed in the first place. But I did the exact same thing. This gets frustrating. So now I'm going through the exact same stuff in a new version. Let me go back here. Let's rewatch this again. I can't believe I'm doing this.
Save that real quick. We need to go back to our send email tool.
All right.
We need to make sure that the schema is the same from right here. We can start.
Okay,
so you can see,
on.
we've got different things we can add to the agent. Output parser tool, memory, chat model.
Cool.
We're just going to touch tool and chat model for today. So chat model, same thing, OpenAI.
I did that.
Connect it. We're going to grab 4.0, especially for one that's going to be talking to us and thinking.
Yeah.
Tool. We're going to call an n8n workflow.
That's what I did. Tool, call an n8n workflow. Look at this. It literally says it's the exact same tool. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Oh my goodness. Okay. Create a new sub workflow. No, this is message a model. So that's the one. This sub workflow will not receive any input when called by your AI node. Define your expected input in the sub workflow's trigger. Dangerous site. It's not a dangerous site. Go and visit. Why am I doing that? I actually had the information. This tool will call the workflow you define below and look in the last node for the response. That's exactly what I did. Call this node when you want to send an email. All right. And pass along the data. All right, so let's do that. Let's actually now manually do that there. And I am going to now take this guy here, delete this, because this is the exact tool that I needed anyways. Delete this entire thing because this is just overkill, doing extra steps for no reason. All right. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to go back to this tool here, and I'm going to now take this guy right here. This is my query item here. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to do a little technique here. This is just me upgrading this to today's day and age, especially when you can't figure something out. I'm trying to make it work. It's like work, done it. And you know what? This is the fun thing because a lot of people will go through this too, right? So this is query. All right, so there we go, query. And I can change this here. And now this is my new query stuff. There we go. And I should have that same output now. Execute the step. There it is, query. It's the same thing. Oh, and does it? Yeah, okay, that's fine. So I got query. That's all set up correctly. So I did it as a set node. So now I've got the same data going in, but now I can actually edit this as it comes in with the previous data. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go here to this guy, and I'm going to unpin the data. Okay. And so I'll let it come in with anything. I'm going to accept all data. And now let's see what comes in here. So I'm going to save this here. Okay. And now let's go ahead and I'll just say, do it again. Send a quick email to Bob at bob.com. There it is. So redo it. done. It's going to run this thing here. Okay. And now, hopefully, if I got it done here, I'll see it in executions. So let's go over here, discard and executions. There's a new one. All right. It's going to be failing for sure, obviously, because I need to actually get some data here. What the heck? No, that's not what it's supposed to do. I was supposed to save this thing here. Oh my goodness. Don't tell me it did that. Blah. Save this guy here. Now what I'm going to do is accept all data, unpin this guy. So it should be unpinned. Execute this just on purpose. It's not going to work. That's good. Yep, exactly. So now I'm going to run this again. Email Bob, for crying out loud. Email Bob. I want all of you to email Bob. Okay, don't email Bob, but you get the point. Email Bob. All right. King Bob, for all of you who know the minions. King Bob. Okay, come on. There we go. It seems like there is an error. Okay, so now I want to see the actual execution. All right, so let's see the execution. There's my data. That's what I needed. Okay, it accepted all data, but there's no data that came in. It should have accepted everything. So what happened here? So I did this execution, right? So it's now going to call this, send an email to Bob, subject, quick thing. Okay, calling log, cool. So it should have sent that data here. So let's actually see what's going on here. Let's go inside of this because this is like interesting here. So it says that's the response, but what was the stuff here? Input, send an email. This is what should have been sent. We should have seen this going into that actual other workflow. And the question is, why didn't it go through? This is the real deal stuff that we're always dealing with inside of n8n. All right, so now I'm going to say here, once again, you don't need to know everything. You just need to know the problem you are trying to solve. In this case here, I need to figure out why that input didn't go to the other workflow. So I'm going to screenshot this, all right? And I'm going to give some context to my ChatGPT. And I'm going to say here, okay, I am trying to send this data from my AI in the main workflow to the sub workflow, right? But my sub workflow isn't getting it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste both. And so here's a little technique. I can literally take this guy, copy that. Okay. So here is my main workflow. Just like that. Paste the entire workflow itself. Okay. The whole thing. And then I'm going to go here. Here's my sub workflow. So here is my sub workflow, right? So I've given it lots of context. So here we go. I'm going to go to my sub workflow here, go to the editor, and now I will just copy this entire thing. And I'm going to say, here's my sub workflow. Done. So now it's got everything it needs to tell me what the hell is going on here because it's crazy. And now it's going to describe to me what the issue is. And so when you're working through n8n or you're working through any of your challenges, this is how you want to do it. And even when you're working with Claude, you know, some of you will use the n8n MCP, and the new one that came out in April, really good. It's got TypeScript, and so you'll get about 80% of the way there. But you still need to be able to solve some of those last hurdles and those last problems and challenges. And this is how we do it. In this case here, we've got a new version of n8n compared to an old version of n8n that Nate is using. So the nodes might be different, or the way the data is transferring, it could be different, right? There's so many different things that could have happened along the way. The video that we're seeing is about like, you know, a year or two old, you know, I think 2 years old, right? And so it's like, I mean, the foundational knowledge is still very good. And so we should still be able to use these techniques here. So let's quickly just see this here. It says the main workflow tool node has this. Yeah. All right. That means your AI agent is calling the sub workflow with no defined input fields. So it's also warning me directly. So what we need to do here is the output says this. So open the sub workflow, save it, and turn it into active. Okay, so let's do that there. So I've got this here. All right. This is sub workflow. I save it. I have to publish it. Oh, yeah. In the new one, I have to publish these things. Duh. Okay, so this is part of the new 2.0 series of things, right? You have to publish things. Okay, so there we go. So I've got that. Now that's done. All right, what's our next item here? So we did that. Go back to main workflow and test again. All right, so I'm going to say here, do it again. Email Bob. So there we go. I'm going to email Bob. All right, and it's saying that it came back. All right, and what do we have here? Oh, it looks like it's doing something different. Oh, wait. What do we have? Do we have a draft? Do we have a draft? Do we have a draft? Still no draft. Oh, it was so close. We were so close. All right. Fine. Let's go see what's going on here. Okay. So we got the execution. Let's see what came in. What came through? What actually came through here? Because this time it actually did something else. All right. Okay. Send an email to Bob with a quick message. All right. Okay. So what it was supposed to do was actually, yeah, pass that chat message along. I just want to see if I just delete this thing here, just move it out of the way, and yeah, kind of like fix this up here, because this is like messaging a model, and it should take the message. Let's see here, message one, parse the query and output parameters separately. Okay, there we go, JSON.query. In this case here, it's going to be not when executed. JSON. It's not called query. Is it called query? What's it called here? When executed? No, it's not called query. I'm going to save this just like that. I'm going to go to executions. It was called something else. I think it was just chat input. Let's see here. What was it called? Query. No, it's called query. All right, fine. We'll call it query. Let's try that again. Okay, we're going to have another execution come in. All right, send Bob an email. We will definitely send Bob an email. Okay, we're going to get to this here. So do it again. Send Bob an email. What do we got here? Okay, go ahead. All right, let's see what came through here. So this is on auto refresh here. And so it's 2202. There it is, my latest one. My latest execution. There it is, my latest. That sounds really bad. Send an email to Bob. Okay, there we go. Went to edit fields. Why is it going to edit fields? No. We have to publish again. The new n8n, it always does this weird stuff. Okay, let's try this again. Round 2. All right, let's try this again. We're going to get Bob an email, man. I'm telling you, we're going to get Bob an email. Send Bob an email, please. Okay, what do we got here? What do we got? Executions. All right. So we got an error. Okay, at least we're getting somewhere. All right, there we go. We message a model, and it's saying we got this here to Bob. Okay, that's actually good. We got this part here. It was on the create email. All right, it cannot read the properties of undefined. Okay, so now I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to say, all right, here's my issue. ChatGPT, fix it for me. I just love that. It's like, fix it, fix it. Okay, can you figure out now why it is doing this? How do I make sure that data is still populated with something, right? We want something inside of there, something, anything, right? So for example, right now, the data that has come in, right, I'll just copy and paste this here. And so this is actually, this was the execution that came in. So I'll put that in there, paste, hit enter, there we go. All right. This is real problem solving, right? We're actually solving for what's going on. And of course, you know, we could continue watching Nate's stuff, but I want you guys to actually also like do what I'm doing here, because that's how you're really going to learn, right? So you get down to the nitty gritty, you go through it, you actually make a few fixes, and you will get better. You will get better. This is like a skill you want to keep on learning, right? The error is happening because your Gmail node is trying to read this, but the actual model output is only send email and Bob. So these don't exist, subject, message, and so on. All right. So main issue is that the OpenAI node is running that. All right. So we want to change this, update your system prompt, and return only valid JSON. All right. So I'm going to take this entire thing here. Okay. And I'm going to update my system prompt here. So there we go. Message a model, and I'll go into my system prompt, parse the query, output parameters separately. And then I'm going to put this here, just like that. Okay. And I've got that. And what else does it say here? Then fix your Gmail expressions, use fallbacks. Okay, so this is fallbacks. So if it doesn't have the data, so let's say I said, message Bob, then each one of these should have a fallback command. So now I'm just going to do that, and I'm just going to put quick note. Cool. So that's for my subject. Yeah, then I got my message. So let's actually do that there. So we're going to go in here, and we're going to put the message here. Come on, message. There, where's the message? There it is. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to go into message, just like that. There we go. We're going to go back into my ChatGPT. The to email is going to be like that. So literally just copy and pasting, man. That's the power of ChatGPT nowadays and all this, new stuff, is you don't want to be, doing everything here. So where's my there it is, my email. All right. And then I've got the CC and BCC. So I'm going to click on copy, and let's go to CC, And then I'm going to get my BCC just like that. There we go, BCC. And I'm going to paste that in just like that. All right. So I think I got this here. So do we have finally a draft for Bob? Let's see. All right, here we go. So send an email to Bob again. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I think we got it. What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? Okay, here comes the run. All right, we're just waiting for it to refresh. Waiting for it to refresh. There it is. Oh, so close. Oh, we're getting close. We're getting close. Okay. All right, let's see here. What happened here now? All right, it cannot read these properties. It just, it still couldn't. Oh, duh, we forgot to publish. We forgot to publish. N8n, N8n. There's sometimes where you're just like, come on, come on. Okay, we're so close. Okay. All right. King Bob. There we go. Let's do it again. All right, it's running. It's running. It's running. It's running. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so that part worked. Okay, we're going to get this. We're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. It said succeeded. It said succeeded. It said, oh, we got a draft. Yay, King Bob. All right. Hello, Bob. I hope this message finds you well. All right. We finally got through with it. Good job. Good job, people. Good job. All right. Good pat on the back for myself, too. There we go. All right. Let's continue through. Let's see now how we, okay, we set up this whole entire pipeline with, with Pinecone and stuff. How do we get that data now? Let's figure that out.
This is obviously the one that we just made, the tool that's a send email. Just want to keep everything organized here, especially once you start to have multiple tools given to an agent. And then you need like the schema that this tool is going to be using. So save that. Okay. I think we just need to add the one more tool, which is going to be the Pinecone vector database. And as you can see, we can't just straight up add Pinecone. We have to add the vector store. So we've got this.
All right, so we have to now add in the actual Pinecone vector store. So let's actually go ahead and do that now. So we're going to click on tool here, move this over, and we'll type in Pinecone, just like that, Pinecone vector store. Okay, and we've got our Pinecone account. We're going to be retrieving documents. So now we want to get at least, some information on what we're retrieving. So let's listen to that.
This is just going to be contacts data. Again, we need to give it a description. So call this to retrieve information about contacts, like email address. What's wrong with this? Can't put a space in that for some reason. So I'm gonna go here. We gotta add a model address.
Yeah, he learned the hard way. You gotta have hyphens. Hyphens. They don't like it. Or hyphens or underscores. You got lucky with the underscore. I had to put hyphens. So let's actually put that in. So contacts hyphen data. So let's actually do that here. So we will choose from the list my vector DB. All right. And then we've got, let's see here. I think I have to add an option in this one here. So it says the name, the vector store tool. Yeah, Pinecone vector store tool. The name is that. Description, call this to retrieve information about the contacts like email address. Okay, so call this to retrieve information like the contacts address. All right, there you go. All right, and it says include metadata. What else does he have there? Pinecone namespace. That could be an interesting one. I think there was a name here. I think he just named it. So this one here, he just called it.
What's wrong with this? Can't put a space in that for some reason. So good to go here. We got to add a model. Okay. We're gonna again go OpenAI.
All right. So in this one here, we have to actually go and add that model in. So we're gonna actually put this over here, and we're gonna actually change the embedding here, and we have to actually. Oh, wait a second. Where's my model here? So I have to actually choose the. Where's the model? Pinecone account, retrieve data, my vector database. We've got that there. And include metadata. What's going on? No. Re-rank, add option. This is like, oh my gosh, there's so much. Okay. Pinecone namespace should be, I believe it was n8n. I'm not sure. Okay. And then what's the other one here? Metadata filter, add a filter. No, I don't want that either. All right. I'm just going to click on execute step. There we go. Provide the data that would normally come from Pinecone agent. No, I don't want to do that. I just want to add in my embedding, which is going to be right now, you're going to go into your OpenAI embeddings right here. So you can see that it says OpenAI embeddings or embeddings AI. Okay. And then from here, it's going to choose what we want. I'm going to choose my OpenAI account, and we're using the small one, and we are good. So I believe that that's all we really need here. So let's go ahead and do that. And we will see here inside of our data list, there we go, Phil Dunphy. So I'm going to say here, can you send Phil Dunphy an email from me saying hi. Let's see if it picks that up. Oh, it went to the Pinecone vector store. What did we get? What did we get? Response was nothing. You literally got nothing. Okay, that is weird. We got all this data back. What is going on here? I don't think it picked up any of that data. Did it even run? I don't even know if it ran. Oh my goodness. It just went into like a GitHub. It just went wild. My computer went wild on me. I don't know why it's doing that craziness. Okay, it's run. And what happened here? Okay, so sometimes this happens, refresh. Anytime that happens, refresh. Okay, and hopefully it saved it. That's another thing. I hope it saved it. Oh my gosh. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's there. It's there. Did it run? It didn't run. Okay, so it should have called the tool. So what it was supposed to do was call that thing. So let's go back here and see what's going on here.
Hi. 4.0. That's good to go. I'm just gonna move this stuff over here. And then the actual vector store. What's it pulling the data from? Pinecone. Gotta connect this again here. This time we're gonna do retrieve, obviously. Get the right index, and then again, you're gonna make sure you're pulling the right namespace.
Yeah, that would probably help our contacts database. Yeah, that made sense. I'm like, dude, it's been a while since I've actually set up a rag. Yeah. And I do it a lot. It's just I forget, like there's so many steps. And that's the point, right? There's a lot of steps inside of setting these things up. And so just keep that in mind. It's like, we're not the only ones who make the mistake, you're not the only one who makes a mistake. Even I make mistakes as well. So contacts, because that's what we called it. All right. So that's there. Save, publish, and save. Got it. Okay. So now I have that. And let's go back and see what we got.
Contacts. I'm pretty sure that's what we call it, right? Contact sample. Okay, perfect. Got that here. So let's save that. Oh, can't forget to do the embedding. Otherwise, it wouldn't know how to figure out what's a name, what's an email address, that sort of thing. So again, make sure it's 3 small because that's how we set up our vector store. And then we're just gonna save that. Okay, so gonna test this out now.
I think I realized something. I think I forgot my vector store tool. I'm just like, what's going on here? I know I'm forgetting something here. So vector store tool. Rag starter template. No, we're not using that. It's a Pinecone vector store, and then there's a Pinecone tool. Okay, I think the new one just does it. Let's see here. Let's see if it picks it up here. So let me see if it could actually now email. Can you email Phil and say hello? Let's see if it picks it up. So this is Phil. That's the first guy. Let's see what happens here. Oh, what do we have? What do we have? Do we have a run here? Because, yes, you got a run. Ha, there it is. Phil at example.com. Is that his name? No. It should have been Nate Herk 88 at Gmail. All right. So Phil Dunphy is the name. Okay. So we're getting close. We're getting so close. We're almost there. Okay. So I want you to email Phil Dunphy. There. So now it's going into the Pinecone vector store. Let's see what data comes back here. Okay. So it picked that up. All right. Let's see what we got inside of our email. All right. Yes. Okay, it's working. Yes. We got it. Did you just love that? It's like, oh yeah, when it works, it's so good. Okay, so now we finally got this. That was a long session. Oh my gosh. All right, so now we got our RAG working. We got our entire system working. We can ingest any data that we want. And the cool part is I can actually access that RAG database, that Pinecone vector store, from like anything. So I can actually give this into Claude and to other things. But the point is now, n8n is deterministic. Like it's not a black box. It's like I can literally go in and make the edits. Whereas with Claude, if I set this up in Claude, I don't know when it's going to choose the right stuff or what it's going to do. Right. So we actually went through this video. It was great. We set up a full RAG. You got to see like everything. I think that was actually pretty cool. Okay. So it was a lot of fun. Now I'm going to go over some of the latest stuff that Nate brought out because I know that there was, someone who wanted to see some of the new stuff. So we'll quickly go over that video, which is talking about the second brain quickly. And I'll just put it just for a couple of minutes, right? We'll do another 5-10 minutes. But if you're here, you're watching with us, just comment, say hello, say what's up. Let me know what you want to see. And we'll try and do that. But we ran through an entire workflow. We set up RAG. You got to see the foundations, and we set up RAG on the newest stuff. And I think that's a huge thing. And I think my kids are also calling me at the same time. I will have to leave soon. So I'm going to just finish up with you guys here and just have some fun with all of you. And then afterwards, I'm going to end it off for the night. Okay. So let's watch some of Nate's latest stuff here. This is the different second brain stuff that just came out. He just released it like a couple hours ago. So let's quickly continue to watch this as we continue. But we just finished off the entire RAG stuff. So there you go. You watch me do it. You saw something. Hopefully you learned some good stuff. Let's continue some of the latest stuff now.
I decided to dig into this today, and I don't want to waste any of your guys' time. So let's just start looking at these 5 levels and how they differ. All right, so every level of a Claude Code second brain, and I'm going to be obviously kind of referring to Claude Code a lot, but keep in mind, this can be used with any AI model. I use my second brain all the time with Codex as well. I use it with Hermes agent. This can be used by different agent harnesses because it's just files and folders. So what is the actual job of a second brain? A lot of people probably define this differently, but the way that I think about it is that it's a place for me to save notes, meeting recordings, click up threads, stuff like that. I can save it there, and then it helps me basically ingest it and get it into the right spots so that it can actually find it later. And so that's really the thing to think about is, can your agent find it again? And could you find it again? Because if the answer is no, then you probably don't have the right routing or folder architecture set up, which is what I'm here to talk about today. And one other sort of mindset thing that I want to.
So that's exactly it, right? So you guys just saw, we built a RAG together. And now if you have that as your own Vector3 database, this has been the challenge for AI for a long time, right? Everyone's been trying to figure this out. If you've ever seen, that actress, what's her name? Oh my gosh. Mila Jovovich. Okay. AI. All right. She did a memory store, right? So memory store. And it's like, we set that entire thing up. So that's the entire thing here, right? Is we actually have a GitHub that she created for MemPalace. That's what it is. It really goes ahead and actually stores all this memory. So, it's really cool if you've never seen it before. And so you can actually add this to Claude and it'll actually remember everything. There's a lot of stuff. So I would just definitely, have you guys check this out. Oh my goodness. Let me just move this video here on this side here. All right. Yeah, there we go. All right. Yeah. So she created something called MemPalace. Right. And it's like you're starting to see like new people doing this stuff. You're seeing actors and big names coming out, getting into AI. PewDiePie just came out with his stuff. He created this entire AI thing for offline AI use. If you haven't checked it out, go and check it. It's pretty cool. But this here is solving that problem of memory. And so what Nate was saying just now is exactly that. Is like, we need a place to store all our memory. This has been the challenge. And a lot of the AI agents have not been doing that. So his latest video is about that. I completely agree. There's a lot of challenges there. For my end, when I was doing some of the second brain stuff, I actually connected Claude with Obsidian. And that's been pretty good for me. But if you really want to go deeper, definitely setting up like what we did with Pinecone and setting up RAG, I think that's good too. So there's a lot of different stuff. Check out his new stuff. I think that's going to be really good. We got a few other minutes there. We're just going to end off here today. So I want to leave you guys with this here. If you haven't already, please go ahead and check out the AIS Plus community. It's a great place to kind of drop in, say hello, connect with other people who are just grinding and doing real stuff. There is a difference in the paid community. You're going to notice it in the people who are actually, grinding every day. We're doing a lot of the stuff every day, like with real clients, with real things. So if you're ready to take it to the next level, if you're in the free communities, definitely that's a great place. I started in the free communities as well. All right. So many of you are starting there. Just go ahead, take your phone. You can take a screenshot here of this here, or here, I'll just move my video over. You can also go to, bit.ly/AIS plus. You can join in, right? And it's a great opportunity for you to join the paid community. And it is huge when you make connections there, when you're building something there. Everyone is there helping each other out because we're all running an AI business of some kind. I, for example, am an AI enterprise trainer. That's what I do. I teach the foundations of n8n to companies, and then I'm, constantly helping companies to upskill. So if you're a company and, you've got all your staff and they're just not using n8n yet, maybe you paid for n8n or you paid for Claude. It's like, come Monday morning, is your staff using it? If not, chances are they need to upskill. And even with the best training and knowledge, your upskilling will probably be about, 30%. But that's what happens when you have an AI trainer. Your team will grow. But the worst feeling is like you paid for these software programs like n8n and Claude, and no one's using it. You just have a couple of power users using it. And the problem is what ends up happening is you get, that power user to teach. Now you have two problems. Not only is that power user not doing their job, they also probably are not a good trainer as well. And so everyone else that you thought was going to learn, they fall into that trap. And so that's why I actually go and I teach enterprises. We come in as trainers and we teach you how to upskill and teach, right? This is what we do. That's why, I'm here helping you all out. Anyways, I want to thank you all for coming on out. This was our live stream here today. If you enjoyed it, come watch again next Wednesday. Come drop in, have some fun with us. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some learning, some excitement, watch some of Nate Herk's videos, and have a great time. All right. And if you have some questions about the latest in AI, please feel free to ask me. Okay. I'm literally live. And so that'll be a lot of stuff, a lot of fun. And I look forward to seeing you guys again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.